But yeah, man, I got no complaints. All was well. We had a good New Year last night. I watched the festivities or whatever on TV and kind of, exchanged pleasantries and laughed, and joked, and just had an all around good time, man. Wished a lot of folks Happy New Year. I believe everyone on this panel. So, hey, man, I enjoyed it. LaDarius, how you doing this morning, man? How was your New Year?
You're on mute, brother.
No, I know. I realize that Terry Talk. I want to say the words that I said. It's a new year, so we'll edit that out and then we'll put it back in post production. Now, but no, it was a great new year. Like to watch the festivities and maybe it might be a new. I might not be as petty, but listen, folks, that's no promises. It's no problem. I'm letting you know right now, January 1st, no promises. As long as this man in the bubble in the upper right is still here, it's not gonna happen. But happy New Year to all those who are watching and or listening. So, and that sound means we're out of time for the first round of the game. We'll be back with round two of Scrabble right after this.
My gosh. All right, happy New Year to everybody. And yeah, man, it was cool being able to communicate with you guys. You know, yeah, it was funny in one spect. I was like, man, I really wish we all get together. And then the older you get, you kind of go, man, I'm glad I'm actually home, and I'm just gonna just go to bed right before midnight. And when it hits midnight, I'll just look over and go, hey, happy New Year. you know, but
Isn't that something? Isn't that something, man? Let me tell
yeah,
you.
it's like back in the day, you would never. Now you're like, you know what? I'm kind of tired, man. I mean, and that was like around 8 o'clock. I'm like, all
Hey,
right,
man, home is the new club. You know what I mean? Look, there's no line at the bathroom. You know what I mean? You get in free. You can make your own drinks. They're free as well. You may as well stay home, man. Oh, look at the older you get, home is where it's at, man.
yeah. You
Wait,
know
T
what's
will
funny?
make
And you don't
you.
have to worry about the cologne guy that's in the bathroom.
No, you don't.
And
No,
if
you.
you have a cologne guy in the bathroom, you're in the wrong house. All right. Let's before we talk about the Falcons, which is you know we found Raheem's timeout stash, as you could see. He carries it very deeply. Him and Matt Eberflus, I heard, were collecting them.
Mm,
Apparently, it's a bet. I didn't know. But
mm.
anyway, we're going to talk about all that. What we also going to talk about is the NCAA tournament, and today's going to be that second round. We had Boise and I believe Penn State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So Boise, Penn State won. Um, I guess now this is now going to be. Well, we know this is a new tradition. The first round happened last, I want to say, a week or two ago, and now we have this, where now it's like the bowl games, and now it's going to set up the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people are kind of conflicted about it. I have my opinion. What do you guys think of this? And are you excited about today with the three games going to be happening? What's your thoughts about this?
Ladarius.
No, T will. No, you go ahead.
I love it. Look, we've been griping about Georgia was left out last year,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, I think this is look at no system is perfect, but I think this is the best way you can go about making sure that all who should be considered are considered. And look at if you win enough games, you can be a number 6 seed, a number 7 seed, a number 8 seed, and win it all. So I really believe through this process, you have a closer chance at seeing who the best team is. I think it's fair. I mean, look at no system is perfect. It's not going to be. There's always going to be somebody left out, but the top 12 teams are the top 12 teams, and I like it. I like the format. I like the way it is, and let's see where it goes. But I think it's fair, and hopefully Georgia will win tonight. Go Dogs!
Yeet.
And yeah, that's my thought process. Ladarius, what say you, sir? How you feel about it?
Oh, wait, you're doing the transitions? I don't know how to feel about that early this year, but
Wow,
yeah,
force habit.
yeah, yeah, they would C Dub and be like, oh yeah, C Dub, and then There's nothing in that cup.
LaDarius, give me your take.
You know what? Thank you, CDouble. I'm happy to give my opinion. Thank you. Much appreciated.
This guy.
Yeah, I always look on the person in the upper left-hand corner as the leader. You know, it's forced to happen. You know,
I love you guys.
yeah. Like I say,
Early 2025.
you know, surprise. You know, listen. You know, I know you're busy. You know, DJing. You know, Timbaland. I know you. You know, listen. It's great that you showed up here on time. That's a big deal.
Man, he was cutting up a rug. I heard.
Yeah, I'm heard he stopped, drop. You know, I hope he did everything but the drop part, which is glad. This is why he's here today. So
to
he
everyone,
popped lock and didn't drop. So we're all glad for it. So
what Darius is referring to is you know, we get together offline sometimes off the show, and you know, Ron and I were talking trash, and I issued a dance challenge to him, and I told him it would go down, and so ever since then it's been this thing. You know what I mean? And those of you who know me, you know, going back a ways, you know, I used to be able to cut the rug, man. So, you know, Ron doesn't want any part of this. I keep telling him I used to be that dude back in the day. So I'm just saying that's what all of these dance jokes are and all of the innuendo. That's where I'm sorry, LaDarius. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. What? Were you done? Okay. I was making, sorry.
Yes,
I dozed off. I apologize.
Oh wow. Oh, that's not necessary, sir. That's not
listen. I disagree. I felt it was more of a necessity. So it's like, now to explain he broke the fourth wall. Now explain the context of these dance jokes.
Oh my.
You know, I was going to start in a Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, but you know, because I dropped too low, I shattered something, and then they went with Shabadoo. So there we go.
Wow. Oh wow.
Fun piece of fact of the new year.
R.I.P. Ozone. R.I.P. Shabadoo or Ozone. We miss you, buddy.
Exactly.
R.I.P. Go ahead. What you got?
Yeah, thank you for taking my time again, T. New year, same T. Will. Anyway, the more things change, the more things stay the same. That's it.
Oh wow.
But anywho, no. As far as the format goes, listen, we complained about, you know, how the system worked for the last. You know, people complained about going all the way back to the BCS system, and people complain. And listen, any system. Listen, involving human beings is going to have flaws.
Yep.
Okay, so picking, like I say, this process here, it makes it simpler. You know, the top 4 teams you look at. Listen, you win your conference. You know. Oh, hi, Rachel. That's my buddy Rachel. Morning, Rachel.
Morning, Rachel.
And
I'm gonna post the comments and then I'll actually read them. Go ahead, LaDarius.
Oh no, you can post the comment. You can do your thing now, and then I'll hold back on my.
Okay, I'll do it real quick. I'm not.
Go ahead,
trying
take your time. Take your time.
All right, what up, Beard Gang? New Year's, Happy New Year's, fellas. All right, thank you. We got Mark Cheney.
New Year.
Happy New Year, Beard
Mark.
Gang. You gotta love him. Mark is very good. He's actually an up and rising. He's been putting out content lately, and he has been really good. Happy New Year, guys. Yeek. Get some. All right, Deshaun.
Notice the K. Notice the K in yeek. I'm just saying.
It's yeek. Look. We're not gonna go over this again. We look in the Beard Gang, Falcon, and in wrestling, we say yeet, not yeek, because Jay Uso has taught us that.
Yeek.
Okay, fellas. All right, Carlo.
What up, Carlo?
Not being incensed, the tragedy in New Orleans worked in our favor because the focus now is on the country, is building up there. So, totally understand. All right. Prayers to all that were affected. Amen. All right. And then Happy New Year, classmate.
Hey, Shondelin.
Oh, okay.
One of my classmates from Redan. Good morning, Shondelin. How are you?
So you remember Terry when he wore the leather helmets?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Number one.
He wore like a fedora to school. Yeah, this is great story time here.
I did not wear leather helmets, and I will have you know I will fly. So give me my propers, okay?
Listen, if I didn't give you your props in 2024, don't expect it this year either.
Oh, I'm expecting it, buddy. I'm expecting it. Oh, yes.
Well, listen. You remember Dickens' Great Expectations? It's the opposite of Great Expectations.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Try to eat better and lift.
What up, cool is Dre? What's going on, man?
All right, we got Nando. What's
Nando,
good, Beard
Nando.
Gang? Let's get ready for Sunday. We're going to talk about that. All right. And then good morning, Beard Gang. Happy New Year. Hoping
Hey, Carrie.
2025.
Hey,
Oh,
Carrie.
yeah, Miss Carrie. We got good morning, Beard Gang. Happy New Year. Hoping 2025 is a better year for our Falcons. I hope to join y'all on a show soon. Much love. Carrie, I sent you the link.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to
You can
show up,
replace the
come
guy
on.
in the upper
You
right
are
hand corner
welcome.
anytime. It's fine.
You know what? She can replace me. She's great. Carrie is awesome. Good
Yeah.
morning.
On the other show, I mean, it's Jack Spade's great, Carrie's
Oh,
great. That other guy, I
my.
just still have reservations still in 2025.
And that is why you have ashy kneecaps, LaDarius.
Oh!
Listen. I'm sorry. He just kept firing on me. He was gonna get
Wow.
back, Eddie.
Listen,
Terry, hold on. Terry breaking out the bows. She's like, I'm
Hey,
gonna hit you where it hurts.
Hey, listen,
Your
next time
kneecap
you're on the ground, listen, stay on the rug, pal. Stay on the rug.
We got Freddie. We got Freddie. Happy New Year, brother.
Hey, Freddie. Good morning, Freddie. How you doing?
Please
Hey,
hit that like. Go ahead.
Hey, Nando dropped. So if you're friends with Nando on Facebook, man, he dropped some hilarious reels. Hilarious. I mean, Nando is funny. I did not know Nando was that funny. Nando is freaking hilarious. He dropped 2 or 3 memes on me the other day, man, and they were
Nando, I am CDouble or Christopher Clavel. You can hit me up on Facebook. I would love. I don't know if I'm on friends with you, but please send me a friend request. I would love to see some of those because I love memes. I'm a meme holic, as LaDarius will tell you. Hit like the everyone to support this awesome show. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie. This is my favorite comment so far. My favorite.
LaDarius, you always make me laugh with that. I thought you were gonna leave that in 2024. You're too funny. Oh, look at that.
Listen.
LaDarius.
Listen, let me tell you something. Jack Spade, great guy. Carrie, great. That other guy, he never gives me compliments on this show. It's always behind the scenes, never on camera. It's like he's ashamed of me.
I have complimented you on camera, sir. Yes, I have. You're not going to do that, Mr. LaDarius.
Oh, yes, listen here, Mr. Timberland. Mr. Just the Way You Are. Yeah. Okay.
Just the way. Just the way I see what you did there. I like that.
A compliment from T. Wood. Listen, hey, you see, I could listen. Oh, everyone's funny. You never called me funny on air. Now, Carrie, you're always welcome on the show. When Terry mysteriously doesn't appear, you can always show up. So,
I tell you, you're funny all the time, LaDarius. Stop.
But never on camera, and that hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
This guy,
listen,
man.
Just because I make jokes and you have the exterior, it hurts in the interior, pal.
I heard
LaDarius.
I go holding back the years.
LaDarius.
I keep
hold it,
funny man, and I love you, brother.
C-Dub, listen, C-Dub, you're hilarious. You are great. Listen, amazing. That guy in the upper, listen, we got to talk about that guy because he gave a listen. By the way, listen, he gives compliments to other people on this show, and it feels like behind the scenes. Oh, you're great on camera. It's like he wants to be antagonistic with me, which I have no idea.
So you're saying my contract is under review for 2025, LaDarius? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, mine is. Yeah.
So you guys are permanent, and I'm a temp on the show, is what you're saying.
Look, hey, your words, pal. Your words. I didn't say it.
Wow. Oh wow.
Just because I run the HR department does not mean that you may or may not come back. Okay, that means nothing.
Oh wow.
I always go to C-Dub. I always go to him. He run his department. I run the HR department.
Right.
And we have these conversations. So you understand the business hierarchy. So you understand. Just because I may be in charge of your future does not mean I hold no bias.
I'm just sitting here so I don't get fined. So I'm just checking this out. This is
so. Oh wow!
All right, so LaDarius, go ahead and hit us with your thoughts about the tournament.
Oh no, I'll just be quick since T. Will took a lot of my time. Now, no, the thing is the format works because here's the thing: people complain all the way back to the BCS system, and how we use the computer system. And I remember one year where it was like Miami and I think it was Nebraska, or I can't think of the third team that had a case.
I think it was
But
Auburn.
yeah. But my point is that what makes this, listen, any system involving human beings, like I say, and T Will can, when you're working with people in your position of making decisions, listen, you're not perfect. You're gonna make a mistake.
That's true.
But the bigger, as long as that you don't make a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
The system, the way it is now is fine. And people are gonna, I saw online people saying, well, what if Alabama lost 3 games?
Yes, they did. End of discussion.
So how do you justify putting in a 3-loss team in a 12-team? Listen, if this was a 24-team playoff, which I doubt we'll ever get to, I don't care. I don't care if Alabama, but if we're talking the best 12 teams in the country, I don't listen. We're all fans of teams in the SEC. We know how tough the conference, and it's even tougher with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas. Mm-hmm. We understand that. Mm-hmm. But you lose 3 games, that means your margin of error gets less. And I think
2 of those were non-ranked, LaDarius. They
exactly
lost non-ranked opponents.
That's the point. So when you look at that's what I'm going. That's my point. When you look at the losses, how were they quality losses, or did they lose the teams they had no business losing to? Like they lost to Vanderbilt. Like no disrespect to Vanderbilt, but at the end of the day, it's still Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. It's still the school that Jay Cutler went to. Okay, so at the end of the day, that still happened. But like to wrap up the point, listen. When we're going to get great games, and listen, one game that is particularly of interest is like Notre Dame, and when I look at Notre Dame and Georgia, like here's the thing, the biggest question mark for Georgia is the quarterback position. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If somehow, some way they can produce offense, I'm not worried about the defense. That Notre Dame team is pretty good. People can, but we're going to find out. So all in all, it's a great system. I don't want to hear people talking about, well, what if I don't listen. You lose 3 games, and then like T. Will said, who did you lose to? You're automatically just like I don't. If you would have lost to like 3 top 10 ranked teams, we could have a discussion. Doesn't mean you're going to get in, but we can have a discussion. Mm-hmm. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, and real quick, let me hit these comments again because I got another one here. Terry. Or T. Will is awesome too, but I love the banter. Makes me laugh. Brings some non-Falcon humor to the show.
Thank you, Gary. I replaced the word awesome with something else, but no, it's the new year, and you can keep the word A in there, but I showed it to 2 other letters that are the same. I'll let you at home. I'll give you a clue. It's not T and it's not a Q. So I've knocked out a couple of letters for you. We'll be right back with Scrabble right after this.
We're playing Scrabble now.
Look. I just got to say this, Carrie. I'm developing a love for you because you bringing all this. You trying to bring the team together, but you didn't mention me, and I'm the one with the beard, and I'm the one with the beard apparently.
Oh, I thought I was. Oh wait, are we getting a CDouble? Are we getting a CDouble petty turn? Hey, listen, I like this.
I mean, I'm just noticing. I feel like I'm being the third shoe of the team. I'm feeling like I'm the third.
Yeah, 3 feet.
You're not the third shoe.
I don't have no attention.
If anything, you're the second shoe, and T. Will is the 5th shoe. So yes.
I thought I was the heel. You guys keep referring to me as the heel, so I'm no longer.
Well, you know what? You could. You know what a heel is. You know what a heel is, Terry.
We all know what the heel is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We also have Diva in the house. Good morning, fellas. Happy New Year. Fire Coach Raw. I don't care what he's done for the game management alone. I'm tired of the Falcons falconing. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I promise. God, those beans smell good. Oh my Lord. Bean and ham soup we're having tonight. So, or that is what we're having, right?
Ham beans, collard greens.
It's the CDouble food report. Checking it in. What's cooking, baby?
Yeah. Collard greens.
Collard greens. Well, let us end the show right now. I'll be there in a couple of hours.
What time?
We're going to end the show now. It's going to be here in a couple hours.
What time should we be there? What should I bring? Sparkling cider?
We also have fresh baked bread too. that she's making.
Well, T Will can bring plates, but don't bring himself. I think that's the key. Yeah.
LaDarius, I keep holding on.
I keep holding.
You know,
All
We'll be
right.
right back
Like
more
a
with the best of
wise
Simply
man,
Red right after this.
like a wise man, T. Will told me you have to laugh to keep from crying. That's me lately because the team that we swept is going to win the division. Just wow.
You know,
Wow.
I like Harry's comment. Just once again, one word I'd change, and that's the word before man. and you know, that word starts with another letter. And listen, that's for our Scrabble bonus round at the end of the show.
the bonus round. So look, the origin of that, we were talking in the chat last night,
hmm
and somebody posted the irony of the team that we swept winning the division.
And isn't it ironic?
And
Don't you
I
think? I'm
referred
sorry, I'll be quiet. It's your time. It's your time.
okay, I referred to Batman the Killing Joke, and that you gotta laugh like you can't make this shit up, bro. You
Yeah.
only the Falcons would sweep Tampa Bay and lose to them. Like that's just you have to laugh. You have to laugh to keep from crying. Like how backwards is that? That is so backwards. We didn't outrun the South. We outran ourselves. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. We outran ourselves, right? That's you gotta laugh to keep from crying, man. Look at
This is going to be one. Look, we're going to talk about the Falcons. I am not trying to like withhold. I'm actually like, I wanted to give some shine to the college game because I'm also about to make an announcement too. So just give us a second. Number one, I like the tournament. I think, it's like this. Everybody has always had a problem with the 2 teams. Then they had a problem with the 4 teams.
Yep.
And someone always got left out. Well, first news flash. Someone's always going to get left out.
Yep.
And it's a tournament and people are choosing the teams. Not everyone comes in. So once you get that in your head, you can actually go, okay, well, this is the teams that we have. I like the format. I think it's cool. It's different. I like teams being able to play at home in the first round. That was cool. Now we get to see teams play a bowl game, but now it's for the semifinals. Me personally, I'm okay with this. I really am. And I'm intrigued by Georgia and Notre Dame tonight. This game to me, because I believe in Kirby, but I want to see how like the injury happened. How much did he get Gunner prepared? And honestly, Georgia, the way I see this may be a coming out party and maybe a possible look at me, you need to draft me party for Travis Etienne if they play their cards right here. But I'm looking forward to this game. I think Notre Dame and Georgia, I think out of the 4 games or the 3 games tonight, I think that's the game I really can't wait for the most. I think second isn't it Oregon and Ohio State?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm intrigued. It's like this. I'm intrigued by Oregon, but I don't want to just say they might win because I got to see it.
Yeah, I agree. Because oh yeah, go ahead.
I don't want anybody to be copyright strike, but somebody may want to mute.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Fair use, guys. But yeah, go ahead, Lizzie.
Oh no, I'll just sing happy birthday. We'll sing non-copyright. And T will is the okay. We'll end the song there. We'll end it.
The greatest. He's the greatest. That's what you were gonna say.
Actually, no, folks. It's a 5-letter word. Find out on Scrabble what that word is, and we'll be right back.
You know what? You two. I feel like I have Stephen A. Smith, and I would say Skip, but
How dare you call me? You looked at me and called me Skip, sir.
No, heck no. You're
The
more
first
like
HR meeting of 2025 is not going to be good.
dude. I wasn't even gonna. Did you hear what I said? I wasn't. I say Stephen A. versus Shannon Sharp at times because those two.
Yeah, I'll be Shannon Sharp. Yeah. Savannah State great Shannon Sharp. Yeah, I'll be there.
You can wear, you can go get some wine and a bag, and be like, hey, "What's up, everybody? We're gonna get some wine here."
No Cavassier, they don't sponsor us, so
we will, and we'll take sponsors. By the way,
don't make you.
Hold on. Okay, I got some people hitting us up here, so give me a second. So we got. I'm enjoying this CFP2. It showed bracket. It showed Alabama doesn't
exactly. Because
if you're the go ahead, LaDarius.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead, CDouble.
No, if you're really wanting Alabama to come in, well, Alabama just lost to Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just going to say this: Alabama is not what Alabama was. Now, if Nick Saban was there, I don't think they lose those 3 games.
No.
I don't think. No. They may have lost 1, maybe 2. I don't think they lose that 3rd. But Nick Saban is definitely the driving force, but he's not there. And you got a different person, and you could definitely tell that was a miss.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time, but you know what? That's a them problem, not us. Miss B's in the house. What's up, y'all? Hey, C-Dub. Hey, Miss B.
Oh, boy.
All right. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I haven't seen Miss B in a while, so it's been a while. So, Stephen A. and y'all killing me.
I'm not Stephen A., so whatever.
So why do I have to be Stephen A., T-Will? Why?
Because I don't have hair, so I can't have a hairline.
Oh, now you're going to claim you're bald. Now you're saying you're bald. Now you don't want to stay out of it.
T-Will.
No, don't show people that. Oh my God, viewers, we apologize. If your eyes are getting blinded, we apologize.
Stephen A. Smith is holding on to what hair he has. You are proud to be what you are, so don't feel insulted. I'm just trying to, speak that. I'm trying to speak that salary into your life.
Right. See, you can't give this man a compliment. See, this is the thing that will happen in 2024.
This guy.
Oh, I don't want to be Stephen A. because I'm T-Will. I'm Timbaland. I'm a Grammy Award-winning producer. I work with Justin. I work with Nelly Furtado. I don't need this. Yeah.
She flies like a bird.
I need you to say Justin's entire name, LaDarius. The man has earned some Grammys, and I think what you did was disrespectful. So I do work with.
No, listen. No, what you did to Bob Dylan was disrespectful. Don't go down that route, pal.
That is a fact. You are correct. That was disrespectful.
I didn't try to sing the man's songs like you did. I'm not going to try to sing Mirrors or Sexy back on this show. See, I know there's a line. All right. Unlike
I didn't know T-Will was bald.
Yeah, you see, it's like
Diva just found out T-Will was bald.
Listen, it's like Scooby-Doo. It's Old Man Jenkins and he was bald. So now you know.
And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddlesome kids.
Yeah. Oh no, he looked at me.
Too.
Yeah, we got him. Who caught him? I did.
All right,
I'll do it again.
We're gonna hit it up real quick. So there's gonna be a change for the Beard Gang, and also for my ATL Sports 1, because we're kind of working together and combining. So next week, Monday and Wednesday, we're going to be on for my ATL Sports at 10 o'clock.
A.M.
A.M.
in the morning.
A.M. Yeah, because we are not late show.
Jesus, let the man finish.
We are not late show people. And I want to make this very clear. But on Thursday at 10 a.m. also, we are going to also, the Atlanta Beard Gang will host another morning show also at 10 a.m. Yeah. We'll collab with my ATL Sports 1. And basically, we're doing a morning show, guys, or afternoon or early morning show. And now the Falcon review shows, we're going to
listen. I told you about that dancing.
Many,
okay.
Unless, or during the season, we'll come back and do them. But we'll also be doing some more spot shows, but then the wrestling shows are staying. Now, we might bring those back on Tuesday, but me and LaDarius will talk about that. We'll make it all work out.
Yeah.
Especially with both our schedules. So, but just know, we're not, it's not because we're giving up on football. It's just, we've been doing really good in the morning, and y'all have been really supporting us during the 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock hours, so we want to be there for you guys.
Yeah, all of you are just rock stars. We love it. We appreciate it.
And we love being there.
Now, I appreciate you. Appreciate you, C-Dub, and Continue.
We appreciate you, Terry, and I appreciate you too, LaDarius. Oh man, it didn't save my other backdrop I had. I had the toxic one. I guess I can't do that one. I'll put that out again. All right, let's talk about this toxic relationship that we're in. The Atlanta Falcons. First of all, if you didn't know, if you haven't seen the numbers, wow. We were a heavy viewed game on primetime. I kind of figured we would be. I figured this would be a very good game for both teams. And I'm going to go here. If everything goes the way it's going right now, I think next year we'll be seeing the Commanders again. I was seeing the timeout can, seeing them red, and I kept thinking about that. So I apologize. So I believe we have a budding rivalry with the Commanders. They've beaten us. We haven't beaten them yet. You had Dan Quinn, but we got to talk about it. First of all, before I throw it to Terry, before I throw it to LaDarius, I got to say this. Big ups to the defense. I'm not going to throw shade on Lake. I'm just going to say big ups on the defense as a total. They played hard. They did everything you could. And here's the thing. Yeah, they gave up the lead. They were out on that field in the third quarter so long. And yeah, we need linebackers. But I got to go here. They gave you a stop. And they gave you an opportunity to win the game in regulation. You can't ask for anything more than that, especially in a game where that quarterback was going off. So I'll continue what I have to say after these guys. T-Will, what do you have to say? We're not going to discuss Rod just yet. But I want to kind of like focus on the guys on the field that made the impact and what you thought.
I mean, they competed. I have nothing negative to say about them. Look, in the ebbs and flows of a game, you're going to have successes and failures, but the object is winning. And look, if you can learn how to win, you can overcome a lot. So, yeah, there may have been a lapse or two on defense, but for the most part, when we needed to, we were able to stand up and make a stop. And I'm proud of the defense. I'm proud of the defense. Again, they got 5 sacks. Was it 5 or 4? I think it was 5. They got 5 sacks. So in one of our previous shows, on one of our segments, Fact or Fiction, I threw it out there that the Falcons will get 35 sacks this year. The Falcons are 4 away from 35 sacks, which is a miracle because at the break we had 10.
Yeah.
So if we get 4 more in this upcoming game, that is 25 sacks in the span of 5 or 6 games, maybe. So I mean, it's phenomenal. But defense played well. They played well enough to win. Offense gave you what you needed it. They tied it there at the end. Special teams was okay. What's his name? Wilkerson has a range of 50 yards, really not much more than that, and he did all he could. So I don't have an issue with the on the field play. Did we miss some throws? Yeah. Did we give up some yards? Yeah. Did Jaden Daniels give us the business? Yeah, but you got to have a spy for that. And look, at first half we were great. Second half, it's like they went in and said, "Hey, Jake, you know what? Just run the ball. You know what I mean? If it's not there, just run. Just take off and run it." And that's what he did. And he got us a couple times. I think what hurt us was the long drives. But again, I'm proud of the effort. I have nothing negative to say about it. LaDarius, what say you, sir?
Yeah, LaDarius, what you got?
Yeah, thank you, CDouble. Thank you. Now, appreciate it. Oh, thank you, T-Will, I guess. Now, I guess. Don't salute too fast. Now, don't you might hurt yourself. Don't salute too fast. I want you to throw out an arm or anything. Listen, I do NFL reviews, and I reviewed this game, for my I put on on social. And listen, historically, Atlanta, has struggled on the road versus Washington. And they went in there and competed. And listen, and I've said, listen, Washington at home this season has been nothing short of phenomenal. when they're in that building, it's something different. It's not to say that they're terrible on the road, but when they're at home, that crowd, like go back to that Bears Commanders game, like that crowd, like and how it erupted on that final play of the game. You know, and listen, Michael, you listen. There's a lot of positives because I feel that you can learn a lot from your mistakes than your successes. And because if you're successful, you don't feel like you don't have to learn anything. But we learned a lot about ourselves and we competed. And like you said, we could talk about the other things later on. But we're talking about those guys, those 53 guys, and on that roster, they showed up. And even the kicker, Riley Patterson, I believe is the kicker. Like, look, special team. Listen, I'm not going to sit there and down him. It's just, look, at the end of the day, we learned a lot about ourselves. And it's easy to sit around and point fingers at, at other people. It's super easy to do that. But what's harder to say is that, listen, we define the positive, like CDouble mentioned, to focus on the players. Listen, that defense has absolutely came a long way in terms of, like, especially in that month and a half, in terms of how we played and the percentage of sacks that we saw increased. And at the end of the day, it was something to learn about. And listen, I cannot be upset at these guys. We can be upset at the result. But listen, that third quarter was, listen, the third quarter is what it was. So I'm not going to sit here and down these guys. Like I said, it felt different, and we got there. We got there, and it felt, it felt different. So, like I said, I can't be nothing but proud.
Yeah.
And people may say, well, how can you be proud of the loss? Listen, they went out there. There were things outside of the control that happened. But, that's for another discussion we'll talk later in the show. But all in all, you can't help but to be proud of this team because we were looking for this. This is the game we needed to fight, and we showed a lot of fight in this game.
Oh, yeah. All right, I'm going to do some house cleaning, and I'm going to give my take about that real quick. So, on Sunday, will Radio Raw use some of those cans of timeouts that are in the guy's backyard? Look, man, him and Eberflus, I think, has a working relationship, and I think they're trying to save it. I mean, look, they may be hoarders. We don't know.
They come and look nice and cold, too. They look nice and chill.
I know. Yeah. What's good, fam? Happy New Year, Wallace Smith. Happy New Year to you, too.
What's up, Wallace?
Okay, let's talk Falcons. I love it more when LaDarius breaks down the truth. I'm ready. Happy New Year, fellas. By the way, Diva said that about you, LaDarius. And then, let's see. Happy New Year, fellas. Happy New Year, or fellas was good. And then that's King Richie. What's up, Richie?
King Richie.
Right. Facts. 100. It did seem like they told Daniels just to run, and it worked the whole game around. We're going to get to that because I felt the same way. The Falcons' body language on the field was best that I've seen all year. It just squandered by coaching, by horrible situation coaching. P.S. Nobody's getting fired, so it is what it is. We'll talk. Third quarter was horrible. Agreed. They took so much time off the clock. Agreed. All right. Now, my thoughts. Players, man, they all did well. I mean, and look, second start on the road, and you're playing a playoff team. You have to give it to Michael Penix. Now, I'm not saying he was an A-plus thrower of the football. Were there guys that were missing plays? And, yes, I get it. But again, you have to give respect where respect is due. This kid, and I've said it many times, and I'm going to keep saying it, especially on this show. I believe the quarterback was sabotaged to a point. But at this game, he was prepared. He played. Now, the interception, I think even Ross said it too. Blair ran the wrong route. It happens. So miscommunication, you already knew how loud it was. LaDarius was bringing that up. But my thing is this: he didn't blink, and then not just that. That fourth quarter where he threw that touchdown to Pitts. Remember, they just had a snap over Bijan's head where Dahlman, I guess, when snapping, he didn't just snap it first to make sure his guy got it. He just snapped and went, and I guess it hit his leg. I don't know, or the shock put it, but that almost was disaster. But Penix was able to throw a completion to London and then throw the touchdown. That's what I'm talking about. He didn't blink. This kid was poised. I like that. And like Terry was saying, his arm is very good. We're going to see how much better he gets with a full year and all that. I get all that. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, though. 2 minutes before the first half, we have the ball. We have 3 timeouts. We didn't use any of them. And I don't even think we ended up even getting in the field goal range or anything, but we had 3 timeouts. So those are the 3 timeouts you see right there on the cooler, all right? And he's putting the other 2 in there because of the fact that, he decided, and what I'm saying is Raheem in the background, decided just to hold on to these. Look, I understand people wanting to be positive. I do. But here's the problem. What was the mandate for this year? If the mandate was to win 8 games, 9 games, then you succeeded. But if the mandate was to get in the playoffs, and now the team you swept, like Terry brought up, you swept this team. You held the tiebreaker. If you won and won out, you get to go to the playoffs, no matter what, because you had the tiebreaker. All you had to do was not lose the game. Your quarterback gave you an opportunity. I'm looking at that first half and I'm going, oh, this isn't good, because you could have. We just saw with the Commanders last week. You could be up. They're going to still fight and come back. So play for some more points. It's kind of like when you play the Chiefs. Don't give them an opportunity to breathe. Even if you're playing defense great on them, you want to try to keep that lead on them. And what happens is they find a way. In that third quarter, they ran. They did everything you wanted to. And yeah, it did look like they looked at Jalen and said, look, if it's in man, you're running, because they don't have no one to catch you. I think Troy Anderson supposedly is the guy that's supposed to be that guy, but he's on the IL more than he is on the field. So that's where, this is also where Dan Quinn comes in, because he has that idea about what Ra's going to do. But the thing is, that first half, when that happened, the announcers talked about it, about how you're not playing to score. What's going on? You have 3 timeouts. Use them. And then the second half, it even magnified more. Prime time, the most viewed primetime game this week. We've seen the primetime games earlier. The Christmas ones sucked. The day after sucked. The Rams in Arizona was not that great. This was fun to watch if you were just a fan of football. What do you guys think about Raheem? And what do you have? Because I got to go here. I feel like he not only cost us the season, but cost us the playoffs.
LaDarius?
Yeah, LaDarius?
Terry.
I'll
Chris?
let you go first, sir. Go ahead. You got
No,
it.
go ahead. No.
All right. I think it's unfortunate. I really do. I really do. Because what I'm about to say I don't want to be taken out of context. I really like Coach Raheem. There's some things about him that I really like. Um, I like that he's gregarious. I like that he is charismatic. I like that he's a motivator, and the players really seem to respond. But with that being said, this year I've seen three flaws in three categories that really, really hurt us. First being personnel management. You should have pivoted from Kirk probably 2 games before you did, at least. You should have pivoted from Koo maybe 3 or 4 games when you had that first issue in New Orleans or whatever, and you didn't, and it cost us, right? So that's personnel. Scheme management. It's clear Raheem got involved after the break. And the problem that I have with that is we're setting records right now as far as sacks are concerned. We could have done that in Denver. We could have done that in earlier games, and it cost us. In some of these games, we just needed a few sacks to get off the field, and I really feel like that cost us. So again, the delay in action, the unwillingness to act in a timely manner cost us. Again, guys, we're going to end up the season probably with 33 to 35 sacks, which I don't know that any team has ever done that, having 10 sacks at week 11. I'm sure somebody can look that up, but
Yeah.
that's I don't know that that's ever been done. But that's number two, and then number three, and it's the most glaring, is the clock management. And my issue with Raheem, you don't have to try to be the smartest guy in the room, right? Occam's razor, which is essentially, a theorist. Occam razor says the simplest answer is usually the correct one, meaning you're probably not going to be able to score 7 points or score a touchdown or score a field goal and run the clock out. So do what you can, manage your timeouts, because the priority is winning the game and kicking a field goal, not trying to do both and accomplishing neither. There's 33 seconds when Penix throws that remarkable pass to Mooney.
Mm.
You could argue Mooney tried to get out of bounds, whatever, but the bottom line is that was a 25 to 28-yard pass. You weren't going to be able to get everybody on the line in 5 seconds. You just weren't. You just were not.
But it was hustling too.
But to think so is criminal. It's asinine. It's naive, right? Number one, that's not what you were thinking. You were hoping, and when I say you, I'm channeling my inner Raheem. You were hoping that in this case you would get as far as you can, but the overall driving factor was you weren't going to leave them time on the clock, as opposed to winning, which it should have been, as opposed to winning. If you call a timeout right there, that's 16 seconds. That's at least 2 more plays. All you needed was 10 more yards. And your indecision at that point, or your bad decision to not call a timeout, cost us there. And the problem is, in the NFL, the margin is so small, right? We all remember Al Pacino's 1 inch, 1 inch, and it's a game of inches. 1 inch. Look, if you call that timeout there, that's 16 seconds. That's 2 more plays. That could equal 10 to 20 to 30 yards. We could have been out of here. We could have been today talking about the playoffs, talking about all we need to do is beat Carolina and we're in, and we're not. And the reality of the situation is, my father, God rest his soul, told me a long time ago, a good coach can take his team and beat your team, and turn around and take your team and beat his team based on his decisions. Raheem is a great defensive coordinator. He's very charismatic, but he has some improvements as a coach, right? Number one, sometimes you got to have hard decisions with people. You know what I mean? You got to have hard decisions you got to have difficult conversations with your friends. Look, if Jimmy's not cutting it, Jimmy's not cutting it. You can't wait until the bye week to have that discussion. You just can't. You just can't, right? So, do I think they will fire him? No. Do I think they should fire him? No. But I do think he needs to be on some sort of action plan or some sort of need for improvement and or some sort of improvement plan based on what we've seen. I was incredibly disappointed in that decision, and I really think it cost us. And that's what I got to say. So that's it for me.
All right. What about you, LaDarius?
First of all, great job, T. Will. Very good job. Very good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. See, I can give compliments. So now,
You can.
It's a New Year's miracle.
now you see, now, that sounded condescending when you said that. So
When
feel
I,
like we're back. Yes, you said, "Oh, you can." I'm like,
you know, it's funny, LaDarius, and I've been thinking this ever since I've met you. You remind me in a lot of ways of my dad because that is something that he would say, right? That because he would pick up you where you and I are similar is we pick up on tone, right? And my tone was not condescending; it was cautiously optimistic, like, okay, what am I venturing into? LaDarius is being nice. It wasn't like, oh, you get what I'm saying?
what do you think I'm going to be like American, like hip? Yeah, what did you think was going to happen?
I don't know.
Stalk your house. I got better thing to do in Georgia.
Punch
Like,
me every
like
day.
first of all, like,
He's got better things to do. He's got to come over and have some collards.
yeah, I got collard greens. Like, what about T. Will? Listen, it can wait.
I'm bringing the cider. I'm bringing the cider.
The salad. Listen, I better not see no fruit in that salad. That's all I'm going to say. I see a raisin. You and I. It's going to be WrestleMania in Vegas. No, we're going to do WrestleMania right there.
You ain't got to worry about the raisins, bro. You don't have to worry
Bro,
about
I have some raisins. Yeah, are you going to eat them? Yeah, because if you put it in that salad, that's not good.
it.
Yeah, that's the non-version of Occam's razor right there. Sometimes that's not the simplest thing to do. Like, no, I'll just throw some raisins in there. No, the simplest thing to do is leave it alone.
Go
That's
ahead, brother.
disgusting, man. I don't like raisins in my that. You ain't got to worry about that. But anyway, go ahead.
And people had the nerve to go online and say, "Oh, I do." Well, I guess listen. Why can't we be friends? That's why. That's why.
Right there, buddy. That's
why can't we be? No, that's why. I'll end the song right there. That's why. And that's me running, and that's me coming up. Dude, what's he doing? He's running toward the guy. Is that good? It's not good. Oh, I like that last comment by Antonio at the bottom.
Oh, I know. Trust me, it's gonna be fun.
I don't know how to feel about that. You know, there's some accuracy in that. But to be real quick, because like I said, Terry he did a great job covering a lot of things. What I will say is this.
Thank you, sir.
The reality is this. I'm similar to T. Will. I think Raheem, he has a lot of charisma.
Mm-hmm.
He knows when he goes in front. He goes in front of people. He doesn't sweat. He doesn't like. To me, I compare it to like he's like a quarterback, and all the pressures around him, and nobody can touch him. That's the charisma. So the reality is, I think, listen, when you're an NFL head coach, you have to understand one key concept, and that's clock management. Understand it's situational. These are things that you practice. Like situational football is something you do in your practice, you do at training camp, you do in mini camp, you do in the off season. Because it's been like 2-minute offense, 4-minute offense. When you have a lead, or when you're trying to get the lead, it's situational. And for Raheem, he did it not once but twice in that game. In the first half, like I said, I believe Penix threw a ball to Darnell Mooney, and I'm wondering, like, hey, call a timeout. We can get a touchdown here because we got them on the ropes. Like they don't know what to do from a defensive person. Dan Quinn doesn't know what to do from a defense. Like do I do man? Do I do zone? These guys are getting open. And he does, and Penix was just using that laser arm. And listen, were there some throws that sure, but he's a rookie. But those throws were electric, and he put us in the position to get not 3 but 6. And listen, you're in the National Football League. Listen, I don't want to say you. Listen, you got to be aggressive in some cases. You can't be okay even if you have a third, like listen, go look at like what the Bills played the Jets. Like the Bills could have pulled Josh Allen after the first half if they wanted to, because the game essentially was over in the first half. But Sean McDermott said, no, we got to get some more points. We got to make a point. And that's essentially what, Raheem has to understand is that, listen, if the points are available, take it. Because, since, T will use Occam's razor, I'm going to use Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. So the action of you not going for 6 and going for 3, those are 3 less points we have on the board, potentially. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the second half, similar situation. You settled for 3 when we could have had 6. So essentially, you sacrificed double the points instead of having potentially 12. I'm not counting the extra point. I'm just counting like the score of the touchdown.
No, I got you.
So, because like I said, sometimes kickers make extra points, some don't. So just factoring that in, you sacrifice double the points. You settled potentially 6 points when you could have had potentially 12. And and it goes into the law of large numbers as well. Like, listen, the bigger the number, it's pretty good. So the consequence was the team played well. It's just like, listen, Raheem hindered his team from being successful. And do I think it's a fireable offense? No, because the people will. Matt Eberflus got fired. No, here's why Matt Eberflus got fired.
Because he's an idiot.
Because you saw the games he played, like the Bears played. You're like, it just wasn't a one-off thing with Matt Eberflus.
Correct.
And neither was it with Raheem, mind you. There were like 3 instances where Raheem cost us games, counting the Washington game. But the difference is that Matt Eberflus just showed a lot like this man has no idea what he's doing.
Right.
And poor Caleb was running for his life.
Right.
And didn't have an offensive staff around to kind of protect him. Mm-hmm. So and then I tell people about Raheem and say, oh, he's coming back. Like, oh, I say, listen, Arthur Smith, and people say, well, Arthur Smith, I say, stop. Your job as a coach, like, go look at the Denver Broncos. They were dealing with a dead cat situation with Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Putting in a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
How many people had the Denver Broncos going to the playoffs or potentially being in a position to go to the playoffs?
Not me.
Yep.
And probably one of the tough in the AFC West, where you're facing the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions twice this season. Like, I'm like, here's the thing. So I'm not like we could say, oh, Arch, he still got 3 years though. He had time to do something. Mm-hmm. So if we're gonna fire, like, Raheem can go like this, hey, we could potentially win 2 more games than we did the last 3 seasons. And it's hard to argue his point. Like, is it a great point? Is it a great point to stand on? Listen, I wouldn't stand on it, but it's a point that he can stand on. Raheem has a lot to work on. Raheem needs to surround himself with I don't want to say football people, because I don't want to knock his staff. But listen, this offseason, you need to have some questions about your staff. And I think we talked about this on our last show. I think one of our last shows from last year. We talked about like bringing in, because listen, the defense all of a sudden the last month and a half showed up. That was because of Raheem getting involved. That was Jerry. That didn't feel like Jimmy. Like, and no disrespect, but that didn't feel like Jimmy. It didn't feel like Jimmy. You saw schemes that looked different. You saw actually, blitzing. You actually saw, like, look at Malone. You saw utilizing the talent you have, which is what you're supposed to do. So when people come at me with Arthur Smith have talent, that's an Arthur Smith problem, respectfully. It's your job to go out there and find the talent. If you're a head coach, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, we can use excuses all the time like people are not great. Raheem Moore just was super. I'm like, listen, do I agree with some of Raheem said like in the offseason? No, I don't. I'm like, listen, it's like Kendrick Lamar said, you got to sit down and be humble sometimes. Like, that's what he should have did. He should have sat down and be humble, and talk about the reason why him because of a quarterback. Like, you don't say stuff like that. Do I like some of the things he's saying? No. Do I agree with his clock management skills? No. And like Raymond said, they practice, but here's the thing, and that's the thing. You call timeouts when you're running those things too. Like Raymond makes a great point. He said they practice them, but utilize the timeouts. It's situational. So that's why people look at Raheem the way that I do. Is that, listen, like T. I think he's a great guy, great personality. But look, he needs to go in the offseason and listen. If you have to go deep, get some. And people suggest, and someone suggested when I made a comment, is get a time management coach. People think, oh, that's silly. No, it's not silly. Because you know why? Because we're not great at everything. Okay, Raheem can be great at X's and O's. He can be great at other things. But listen, when it comes to time management, he's shown not once, not twice, but 3 times this season. And you think about those wins, it's like, listen, we could have won this division a long time ago had we had a coach who knew what the concept of time management was in situational football. Why not bring in an outside guy or bringing someone from the outside to, hey, coach, listen, if you can hire a guy to drag a coach on the sideline and going in the field, you can hire a time management coach. Like, so my biggest thing is that I just want him to understand that, hey, you got to bring in something, because you can't justify bringing back this staff if you don't make the playoffs. If we make the playoffs, CDouble, T-Will, we're not having this conversation. Mm-hmm. But it's the fact that it's not the first time he's done it. So I'll just end it with this. Raheem Morris is coming back in 2025. And people may not like it, but listen, if Arthur Blank gave Arthur Smith 3 seasons, bless you, then surely we can give Raheem at least a second season. And people could say, oh, the roster difference. I'm like, listen, Jim Harbaugh inherited a terrible roster that was 5-12 last year, and they look better. That's my argument. Like, he turned around in 1 season. Raheem, maybe, I'm not saying Raheem turned it around, but we've already won more games than we had the last 3 seasons. So people, listen, I'm not saying it's strong to stand on, but that's the point that he can go to Arthur Blank and say, well, respectfully, listen, we were 7-10 for 3 straight seasons. We have 8 wins. Not saying it's great to stand on. That's basically like trying to put a tightrope across the Empire State Building, and you don't know how to walk a tightrope, but it's something he can stand on. So sorry, I didn't take up all the time, but yeah.
No, you didn't. All right. I'm going to read the comments because I was letting you all cook. So, and I like doing the comments before I speak, especially after what Antonio wrote. Fellas, I want to know who was the smartass that put Malone in the coverage on that PI needs to be fired. Look, I really feel for Malone because I don't even think that was PI. But
yeah,
it's like, come on.
Yeah.
That was cheap. But yeah, I can't get, but I'm with y'all. Diva, Happy New Year. So that's what Miss B said to you, hun. I honestly think, and I will say it right, Penix earlier, Drake, Mooney, and Pitts would all be a 1,000-yard receiver. Hold on.
Right option, Z, right
fellas,
kick.
Happy 25. Live to everyone. Hold on.
What up, A1?
I meant Penix, but damn autocorrect. And I'll tell you, autocorrect did that to me a couple of times too.
And that goes to Android or iOS. I don't care what system you're using. It's going to still pull it out there. Like,
oh, yeah.
Question the AI.
We still had an opportunity to win the game, and your coach froze in the moment and took the game away from the guys. I'm going to hit that. Don't worry. All season long, T-Will. I'm going to hit it. All right. Should have gotten that kid in the best situation to make the kick. I will get to that. Cohesion is great, but what is your coach really thinking if these simple details aren't even a thought in his mind, especially being in the staff during the Super Bowl loss?
I agree 100%. I right there. Right. And here's my issue, right?
Let's go back to that one then. Go ahead.
Here's my issue. If you are a captain of a ship, there's certain things you have to know. There's certain things you have to know, right? If you are a naval officer, you are a captain of a naval submarine, you need to know the exact distance of a missile and when it arms itself, if fired at you, because that could be the difference between life or death. So there's a scene in Crimson
I
Tide.
was just going to use that line between
Yeah,
Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington. Yeah.
yes, where a missile is fired or two missiles are fired against the sub, and Denzel Washington says, "Turn into it." And one guy says, "What are you doing?" He says, "Look, they have to arm at a certain distance. We're not at that distance. So if you turn into it before it gets there, it's not going to blow up." That is akin to time management. Time management should be second nature. It should be muscle memory if you are a head coach, right? It just should be. It is what it is. Look, I'm old. And old back in the day, if you were going to get your license, if you couldn't parallel park, you didn't get your license.
Ain't that
I
right?
don't care whatever else you did right. If you could not parallel park, guess what, buddy? You ain't driving. And it is the same thing with time management. If you do not understand time management, what are you doing coaching? Period. There is no, that's like being, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. Bottom line is there are certain qualifications that a head coach should have. And one of them is time management. And guys, honestly, I think Raheem was scared.
He was coaching scared.
I think he was coaching scared. I think he was coaching not to lose as opposed to coaching not to win. And I can tell you something. When two guys get into a fight, it's the guy ready to die that's in most cases going to win. Because if you fight scared, you can't worry about how you look. You can't worry about your jewelry. You can't worry about your shirt. You got to go for broke. You got to
Yep.
get in there and get your hands dirty. You can't give a damn about your surroundings or who sees you. If you're focused on winning, you ain't got time for that. You cannot play scared. He did not call the timeouts because he didn't want an interception or anything to happen to jeopardize his precious 3 points. He coached scared. And in that last moment, I guarantee you he's thinking, well, we don't want to give them a turnover right here and they can go ahead and score and kick a field goal. That's why he ran the clock down. But that ended up biting him in the you know what, and you just can't coach scared. My father has been telling me this. Well, he did when he was alive. In any sport I play, son, you can't play scared. If you're going to play scared, you may as well not even go out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to coach scared, you may as well not even go out there. Look, things are going to happen. Things are going to happen. You cannot control everything. You cannot control chaos. You cannot control things that happen, but you have to know when to be aggressive. And all you had to do was call a timeout. You could have extended the plays. We could have won that game. I'll even go another way. If you call the timeout and we lose, it's not on you, Rob. It's not on you. This whole conversation, this whole week of indecision and calling for your job, it's not on you. That is, look it. We, you know what? This is one thing I'll say about this panel. We're all smart guys, and I'm not bragging. I know you guys. I
Mm-hmm.
know you guys. We're all smart guys. We've all been the smartest guy in the room at one point. You can't outthink yourself. You can't believe your own hype. You can't think, oh God, I'm so great. No, there's a protocol and a process for a reason. And the reason is if you'd have followed the process, you're not standing up an hour later answering question after question after question after question about it because you did what the situation called for. You can't outthink the system. You can't. You're not smarter than everybody. And I think what really disappointed me, and again, I love Coach Rob. I do. I like what he's about, but he's got some growth to do. After you working on my cousin, after you mess up like that, you cannot turn around in a conference, in a press conference, and LaDarius, let me make sure I get it right. Be laissez-faire, right? Laissez-faire, is that how you pronounce it? Not laissez-faire, but laissez-faire, correct?
You can go either way, but yeah, you can go either way.
All right. You can't be so devil may cry. Oh, well, I mean, I could have. I mean, looking at it in hindsight, you're talking to us like you are our dad. That is condescending as hell. You are talking to us like you're the smartest guy in the room. Like we don't understand all of the variables that you considered in your mind. And at the end of the day, you were just scared. And sometimes, Rod, you just gotta own it. You gotta own it. You gotta own it. Two questions, guys. And C-Dub, I'll come to you first. Do you think Raheem lost the locker room?
That I was gonna bring that up actually. You know what? Yeah, because here's why. It's you look, that game was important. Am I wrong? Am I right?
No, you're very right. It was
Okay.
it was the
Did
most
the
important game
defense
of the season.
okay. We saw the offense score a touchdown to tie the game, right? We
Yeah.
saw the offense score a touchdown to tie the game, right?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Okay, so did the defense. The defense went back on the field, if I'm not mistaken, and got a stop.
They got a 3 and out.
Okay, got a 3 and out, meaning the last time that ball you had time of possession and you had good field position. So it wasn't like you were like deep in the end zone. The defense gave you a chance. And there you have to really try to do some gymnastics to explain to me if I'm Grady Jarrett and I'm looking at Raw, not calling a timeout through that time, and you as a defense, yeah, you gave up the cookies in the third quarter, but you know what? You made enough plays to put the offense in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
You gave them a chance to win. And by the way, it wasn't look. And for those that were like, well, what about the time? You don't want to give too much time. You're telling me that Jaden Daniels, with 1 second, was going to bring the team all the way to get a field goal?
It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, it wasn't. If you would have done this right, you could have brought in that kicker to kick a field goal within 40 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That's how confident I believe that would have been.
And I'm going to at 5, 10, 5.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you that play, and it's like this. So if I'm the defense, how do you think I feel? I think you kind of saw it. They not let them, but they couldn't stop Jalen Daniels.
They were exhausted. They were
gassed. Because you just look that final push when they got him off the field. You're thinking we won this game. We've got 2 timeouts. We didn't have to spend it. We can win this. We can steal this game.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, you win this game, we can actually forgive everything. The slow start on defense, the 10 sacks going to the bye. But because your pride, you were scared to coach, I don't know. I will speak on all this, I promise. But yeah, do I think he lost it? I think he did that night. And then Terry, when he said, well, they should have ran faster. Terry, the guys that called the game, or the guys that were talking about it, they were like, they're hustling down the line. There was no one loafing. That's even worse.
That's a silly statement, because again, if you're talking about a 12-yard pass, you're talking about a 24 to 28-yard pass. Mm-hmm. There's no way big offensive linemen, they're just not going to be able to do it. And being in the game for 30 years, you should know that.
Yeah.
You should know that. No, what you didn't want to say was, I did not want to leave them anytime. And I was more afraid of that than missing the field goal. And look at when you have these moments, you have to take advantage. 2012, Falcons go to the NFC Championship. We're all excited about it. We lose. We did not get back to the playoffs until 2016. So nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. And when you have the resources and the tools and the players to get it done, you do your level best to get it done, because this is the NFL and nothing is guaranteed. And I think for me, that is what hurts the most, is it was there. I am a long-suffering, long-time Falcon fan. I have seen how this goes. And there is no guarantee that you will get back to the playoffs. That, yeah, you have a great quarterback. You have great offensive weapons. There's no guarantee that you'll get back to the playoffs next year. So when you have the opportunity, you have to go out, kick the door in like a banshee, and go for broke, man. And he just didn't do that. To me, Dan Quinn coached like there was no tomorrow, and Raheem coached like it was typical Sunday in certain situations. Not in every situation, but when it counted, it's like, okay, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose it here. And that's, what you're saying is you don't have confidence in your team to finish this. Is really what it's saying. So, again, whatever. I hate it. I hate it. I don't think Raheem should be fired, but I definitely think this offseason he should watch every film on clock management known to man.
Yeah,
I
let me
think, go
yeah.
ahead.
Let me get back to these comments because I want to really dive into what I was going to say, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all, sir. Go
All
ahead.
right. All right. So, by the way, great point there, Carlo. All right. Terry just sunned the LaDarius. Welcome to the fam. I like that one. That was funny.
Hey, look, LaDarius, we go back and forth, man.
Yeah,
LaDarius,
LaDarius and Terry are actually they love each other, and it's actually fun. We all look. If y'all don't realize that we just goof around, and have fun, and we appreciate our companies, that's what we do, man.
yeah.
How do you know the need of the fan base city not to muck this up, where the conscious thinking before and in the moment? I understand. Stalk his house. Someone was cracking up at that one. That compliment to remind a person of someone's that is it is.
Thank you, Antonio.
It's
Thank
very
you.
Antonio's a great dude, and Antonio, if you're around, I
I
might
still
just
owe him an
use the
appearance.
link.
We still owe him an appearance on our show.
Oh, I know. He's live right now. Right.
Raheem. He's talking about
Yeah.
Raheem.
Timeouts are rare. Truffle too. Right.
Clearly.
Oh
Not
my
in
God.
season truffles either. They're not in season truffles.
Yeah, exactly. Raheem likes having the pieces and not utilizing them. The type of guy to buy a Corvette, not to race it on the highway, because he just likes to look cool in it and be a compensation piece.
Excellent.
Man,
Excellent.
Carlo, you really bringing it, man. I like that one. See,
Excellent.
looking at the desk.
Won't make it true.
Oh, hold on. Looking down at it won't make it grow. Come on.
Pause.
I'll say pause also. He said they practice these situations too, but he didn't practice calling those timeouts. I'm with you there. No need to get Raw fired. Pitts actually going off in the game, and the OC took him out, shaking my head. Well, we're gonna bring that up. Remember, I asked you about the hybrid 2-man shell defense at CDouble. Yep, you did. You definitely brought that up. Raw is a nerd. Okay. Great show, guys. And let's see. Raheem and Dan Quinn essentially played for the same thing, but DQ just wanted it more and was willing to sacrifice his quarterback to clinch a playoff. Look, his quarterback was making plays. We really need to also give Jalen Daniels some credit. The kid could ball, but so can our guy. Basically, you saw two young quarterbacks, and look. Yeah, I'll get back to that. Rod Live Now says biggest thing he noticed from Penix in these two games he may not be able to show in practice is his poise. Part 1. Jalen Daniels is fragile as hell. He's like a weak tooth. I don't know about the fragile part. I saw him get bent backwards and he was still playing.
Get up like it was nothing.
Yeah, I can't call him fragile after I saw that. Moore said the Falcons were so confident in the fourth drive they were almost just waiting to celebrate. Okay. All right. Waiting to celebrate is crazy. Why would you say that out loud now after the fact when we lost? Sheesh, not a good look. Come on, man. Comes off cocky and then it didn't go our way. Carrie, yeah. Oh man. Maybe I'm overthinking that, but coming off as the smartest guy in the room again, and clearly we weren't the smartest in the room.
There you go.
Drake London quote. Oh, this is great. If you have not seen Drake London's quote, please check it out. But Carlo, thank you. Drake London's quote about 1,000-yard season tells us exactly what he's thinking right now. And basically he said, what does it matter? I'm on a losing team still.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my take, because I have been labeled as the guy that wants to get rid of Raheem. And I'm not going to lie, I do. Because here's why. You can't do this. You came in braggadocious. You came in like you were the talk of the town. And let me tell you something. I wanted this guy as a head coach. I did. If I couldn't get Harbaugh, if I couldn't get Belichick, if I couldn't get Grable, I actually wanted Morris because I thought his defense, he could come up with something good here. With that said, the moment I heard him talk, I went, oh boy, this is not going to be good. Because he was more confident about talking than he was football. And then what did you hear? We need an elite processor. Elite processor. You go get Kirk Cousins. Now look, they will never tell us, but I truly believe Raheem was standing on business, standing on his head, breakdancing for Kirk Cousins. He wanted this man. Didn't care what the price was. And Terry was like, you know what? Let's get him. You know. But then I think Terry did the smart move, which was, I don't know if this guy's healthy. I might, you know what? I might look at this Michael Penix. You know, we're not going to show that we really want him. Let's just, see how it falls. And I really think if it wasn't for this move, I don't know where we would be. And normally, I would crucify Terry for this move. But I can't criticize when you got a young quarterback, and the guy actually has the stuff you could really see. Now, let's talk about Raheem. Preseason. Or, training camp. We really didn't even get to see training camp. We just heard Raheem. We didn't hear anything else except for Kurt when he cost us the 5th-round draft pick in his introductory press conference. But then in the preseason, he plays one game. Game 2. It's the YouTube content creators. We all got together. Me and Terry were there. And we were all looking at each other going, where's Penix? Why is he not playing? We weren't expecting Penix to play the whole game, by the way. But we were just like, you got to play your secondaries, or your second guys. We didn't do it. So now my question is this. Then you didn't look prepared. And then we talked about the defense. For 11 to 12 weeks, Terry had to basically fight us off because we were worried about sacks, the pressures. Our defense didn't look physical. Our defense wasn't attacking. And then these past 6 games, how many sacks you said? 30, 35 or 25 sacks we got?
We've had 21 in the past 5-6 games, whatever.
So think about that. It's like everyone's like, well, could you imagine? Well, let me hit you with this. So if we played those 11 games the same way we played the last 6, how many sacks then?
Maybe 50.
And not only that,
maybe
I tell
60.
you, you're in the playoffs. I tell you, you're in the playoffs. We would be in the playoffs taking care of our own. This game wouldn't matter. That's how serious I am. And then you saw the way they worked Kirk Cousins. Obviously, something's up with Kurt. And now we look at the Falcons and we can't trust them because we didn't know if Koo was hurt or what. But you kept bringing him out and he was missing. And you saw what happened. That New Orleans game, let's talk about that. Because I remember a certain guy with a beard who wears headsets right now, who goes by CDouble. Yeah, I'm talking about myself. Saying that game, when they fired their coach, I said, we need to come in with a playoff attitude. Because they're going to come in like a Super Bowl. And I remember people telling me, Oh, CDouble, don't worry, man. It's a rivalry game, but we got this. We got this.
We got this.
I remember Big Low having his broom sweeping in front of Q, and Q's going, if you lose this game, you might go on a losing streak. He's like, come on, we can't lose. We got Kirk Cousins. And sure enough, we lost. And then what happened in Denver? Oh, yeah, we lost. And then we had a bye week. And then we lost against the Chargers at our house. Kirk's probably worst game ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the game with Minnesota, not so bad, but yet you saw how he was playing. The Raiders game. Gets that touchdown. Whoop-de-doo. Because then all of a sudden, you want to now ask, because if you remember that halftime thing he said to the camera, I think we need to stop writing that narrative that Kirk can't throw a touchdown. And then sure enough, all of a sudden now Michael Penix is the guy. I said, this is coming from above. And now I'm looking at this season. You had a guy that you had Michael Penix. I believe they sabotaged this kid. And I kept saying it, but here's what I'm going to say. When you're that good, you step up. When you're that good, all right, all right, cool. So LaDarius had to go. He had to take care of some show stuff, so stuff for work. So thank you, LaDarius. We'll definitely give you a shout out at the end of the thing. And so with that being said, I wanted to bring up, because everybody wants to give credit to Raheem and all this, but my thing is this. So I'm bringing all this up now, and now let's talk about this game. This game, if you would have won, would have been the ultimate deodorant. It would have been the ultimate eraser. We would have been like, you know what? Everything's a work in progress.
Everything is
awesome. And then what happened? Bam. He's standing there. And then like my guy, I remember sharing it to our morning crew chat. And if y'all haven't checked, go to on YouTube. It's Chisel Adonis. He does a lot of commentary. Oh, he got on to Raheem. And he got on to him about the first half. He says, my man, you got 2 minutes. You've got 3 timeouts. What are you waiting for? You got your young QB. Help him. Give him an opportunity to give you some more points. You've seen this team. This is a YouTube content creator saying this. Then, who's a fan of the Steelers, mind you. Okay? So he understands football. It's not like, hey, he's just some guy that's just, ranting at the mouth. And not just that, but and then in clutch time, he's like, what are you doing? You have an opportunity to. Jalen can't stop you. Finish this. And then he played the thing that Raheem said. And he said, if I'm a player for the Atlanta Falcons, I'm sucker punching this man. Because we just did everything we could to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that beat us wasn't the Commanders. It was you.
Mm-hmm.
Stop with the smiling. And he's playing back things where he's smiling, where he's hugging on players and hugging on Arthur. He goes, Raheem, if you don't have an ultimate look at yourself, you're not going to be long as a head coach. I dare say the man deserves to be a one and done.
I agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. Raheem needs to take a look at himself. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And he said, after that, he's like, and you can't tell me after that that he's all good. He's this great guy when he cost you an opportunity to the playoffs. You can, champion it all you want how great Raheem is. If you really want to do that, that's on you. But my thing is, what was the expectation? Because I remember Raheem talking about how, hey, we are this. We are one player away. And you got to be careful when you say that. Because one player away, okay, you got Kurt. Oh, you're still lacking. Oh, you don't have that. You don't. Okay, well, you're such a good coach. You should be able to work around that. Oh, wait a minute. You're not now. And now look at what's going on. And then when I hear, well, he deserves a second. My thing is this: he's a head coach at Tampa. Did the same stuff there. He made a move. He got rid of Byron Leftwich or bench Leftwich for Josh Freeman. Well, now he's doing the same where he had Kirk Cousins, but he benched for Michael Penix, and he still had time issues, time management, and it's like this is the kind of stuff where you go, you're not changing overnight. My thing is this: what was the expectations when he did that interview that blew Arthur, Terry, and Rich away? Was it, hey, I'm going to get us in the playoffs next year? And if he said that, well, let me ask you, as you said earlier, we're the only team that swept a team, and that team has got a chance to clinch their division. And we're a team that may go 5-1 in our division and not be in the playoffs. Oh, and we don't control our own destiny. Make it make sense.
I can't. It's look it. I don't think he should be fired. I don't want him to be fired, but I can't make a case against his performance this year.
Yeah.
So in other words, if Arthur were to say, "Well, hey, you got to go," I can't defend him because it wasn't just one thing, right? It wasn't just. It was at least 3 or potentially 4 categories that he was just critically inept at. And the only thing he did was prove a narrative.
Mm-hmm.
You again, you gave life to the narrative that the Falcons don't know how to conduct themselves. The Falcons don't know how to win. I mean, everybody and their mama was like, call a timeout. And it's unfortunate because Raheem is truly a dynamic guy, but look at leadership, man. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. You're going to lead an NFL team. You have to know this. There's certain things that you have to know. There's certain things that are innate to leadership that you have to understand. And one of them is you lose locker rooms for shit like this. Look it.
Yeah.
The military, men have been killed for poor leadership decisions in the field. Oh, they don't talk about it. And it's listed as an accident, but there have been situations of captains and or colonels eating a bullet because they got their men in a bad situation. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
And what's unfortunate is how are you going to look these guys and especially the I'm the smartest guy in the room stuff has got to go, man. It comes off as condescending when you're blaming everybody but you. Look, it was your decision to call timeout. Own it and move on. You need own it. Own it. You're not going to out everybody. You know what I mean? That look it. This is 2025. There are a lot of people who watch football is the most popular sport in America. There are people who play Madden every day. There are people who watch it every day. People are smart. You can't just throw something out there just because you're articulate and speak well and know how to engage people and are gregarious and charismatic. You can't fool. My father used to tell me, you can't fool all of the people all of the time. You can fool some of the people, but you can't fool everybody, right? And this car salesman, I know, father knows best shit has got to stop. Like, it's funny, the next day, he completely he apologized and I that was probably a conversation like that wasn't just by accident. Somebody said something to him. But the bottom line is, Coach Ra has got to learn there's a way to handle people. There's a way to handle the media. But look at when you mess up, you gotta say it. You gotta say it. You gotta own it. And you gotta get better, Ra. You gotta get better at managing your friends. You got to get better at having tough conversations that you don't want to have. Look at nobody wants to have tough conversations with their friends.
Yeah.
Okay. I've managed people. I've been a supervisor. I've been a lead. And the most difficult conversation you can have is with somebody that you are aligned with, that you are friends with, that is not cutting it. But in that position, you have to do that. You have to be able to compartmentalize, put that to the side and say, look, Jimmy, you're not cutting it. Okay, we're good and everything, but you're not cutting it. I need this, this, and this. That conversation should have happened 5 weeks before the bye. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to say you're afraid to make certain decisions, but you definitely take your time and you wait until it's too late.
Yeah.
And Atlanta is not Alabama. Atlanta it's not New York, it's not LA, but it's close. It's close. You can't just tell these people what you think they want to hear. You can't. Sometimes look at you if you're gonna be a head coach today, you gotta know how to carry yourself off the field. And what I mean is you have to know how to interview and not piss people off. Just because you're articulate doesn't mean you can't be condescending. Just because you're charismatic doesn't mean you can't be condescending. And a lot of these answers are at the height of condescension because they suggest that don't worry about it. Maybe I did, maybe in hindsight. And that's not the first time he's done that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
You got, yeah.
and look at these people, they ride and die with the Falcons. They want to see him win.
Yeah.
So again, I love Coach Ra, but he needs to get it together, man. That's my only point. He needs to get it together. He probably needs to bone up on, and he's a very articulate guy. He's sharp, but you cannot look at when you're wrong. You got to deal with it, man. You got to deal with it, and you can't condescend to people, you
No.
know. But anyway, whatever. I'm tired of talking about it. Look,
No.
at
No.
you
But
all.
what I will say this: this game, you know, you asked the question, did he lose the team? So before I go into that, I do need to do this because we got people on, and I would like to hit these up. So give me a second because I do enjoy our comments because when people do this, is to me it makes our show fun. I enjoy doing this. So
Absolutely,
give me a second.
absolutely.
So let's see. Uh, did that? I talked about that. Talked about that. All right, we got that. Uh, yeah, it's like I went a little long when, or not long when I did my searching at the comments. Uh, and real quick about Pitts. Look, a tight end should be a quarterback's friend regardless. You should, there he should be making plays regardless. You know, and it has to come down to what are you willing to do to be that guy? Are you putting that work in? All right. Are you putting that point of, hey, we're going to get this done regardless, you know, and, you know, when you see Drake, you saw what he said about getting 1,000 yards. I bet you he'd rather be in the playoffs if you asked him. So,
I'm just saying, man, stuff like this is what gets people fired, right?
oh yeah, yeah, and this is and we're about to talk about what really can be done. It's like, let me do this real quick because I found all the comments now. All right, Raheem coach like he wanted to see Quinn win. Washington is on a 24-year playoff. It's been that long?
Has it?
Yeah, I don't even know. Dang. I mean, I thought they played a little earlier, but I don't know. Politics and behind closed door favors would. Why would you stop running the ball when you had a lead? Atlanta always sacrificial lamb because the city gone pop regardless. Man, that is something that did bother me. It's like I get we didn't have many snaps in the third quarter, but you gotta at least try to run the ball. You
We were
gotta,
I
yeah,
think we were 3 and out twice,
yeah,
right?
we did,
They
but it
went
was
on drives of 6 minutes and 7 minutes. That's like, I mean,
that's
we
13
might
minutes
have
right
had
there.
it
Yeah,
one time. We might have had it one time in the third quarter. So we really didn't have they did to us what we should have done to them.
exactly.
It was ball control, move down the field,
Yeah.
Taking out chunks of time. They did to us what we should have did to them. But
Yeah. And
it's
then so Terry CYA is what you're saying, CDouble. Yeah, no, don't worry. We know. Because I said that about Terry, but a wet toothpick has been in it, CDouble. Okay, gotcha. And then you didn't see Penix because you wouldn't want to see Kirk Cousins. That's why you didn't see him.
and
Because if you
that's
would have saw, the arm. Okay, yeah, no, I get that.
a good that let me tell you something. That
Mhm.
is a good point because if you believe that bullshit about construction, and no, they didn't want you to see Penix.
Yeah, I
Bottom
don't
line,
care.
all
Yeah.
those times, they did not want you. And look it, I get it. This is Atlanta.
Mhm.
We do not do quarterback controversy well at all. It will divide a fan base.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand it. They tried to manage this as best they could, but I
And you know what
don't
though?
know
The
why.
moment the moment they drafted Penix, that was when the controversy grew. That's when it started because you had people automatic. Oh, I'm on Penix side. Oh, I'm on Kirk's side. I mean, it always happens. It always happens. It's nothing against any guy, but when you do that and the old head struggles, everyone's going to be like, "What about the new toy? Let's go ahead and get him in." And you
Mhm.
know what? With the success of Jalen and Bo, and I get the coaches they have, but man, it makes you wonder what Penix could have done. But I am with you. That I'm not surprised that happened, especially with Terry Dunn. Is hedge his bet, secure his job, and the same thing TD did by securing. Yep, Matt Ryan. That's always been the thing. Why would you say we were just waiting to celebrate the win right after we lost? I think even if that's true, you shouldn't say that to the media since we lost after a win. I'm with you. I, Carrie, if you like, come on. I want to hear about this press conference because I didn't know the press conference was on, and I didn't know he really said this. And if he did, my God, this goes to the tone deafness and why some fans just
He really
don't
is. He
don't want
really
to be
is. Oh
don't
my
want to
God.
hear. And
He really is. He really is. It's like you're trying, dude. You won't get out of your own way.
yeah. All right, question. Tell me where Raheem was a great coach on any team where they didn't already have chess pieces in place. All right, this is what we know Ryan, and we also know Ron brings this up all the time about Coach Raw not building up a defense himself. I mean, look, sometimes you need to be the guy that brings it together. I get that. Or rally the troops. But there is something to say where if you had a hand in each guy's development, that does speak volumes. So I can't argue that. Great pieces in place. Rams defense would have been great if I was there for DC. I love that. I love when people do that. I love it. Coach Raw needs a PR team.
That is true. You King Richie, you hit the hammer on the head. Cause look it, Raheem seems to be this kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
When things are good, he's great. He's
Mm-hmm.
all the right things. But you put a little fire to him, especially when we're talking about the accountability piece to it. He doesn't seem like he wants to accept accountability and he makes things worse. And you can't fool people, man. You can't fool people. You just can't. So what my dad used to say, don't you can't snow me. And he's right. You can't fool people. You can fool some of the people. You ain't gonna fool everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need to own it, Rob. That's all I'm saying. He does need a PR team.
Yeah, and you know what? Someone called him the Barack Obama of football coaches. That this man just lives for the microphone, and I'm going. I can't really argue that point. Happy New Year's from the Dixon Way. Now he's fixing some gumbo, king crab legs. So I wasn't able to get on with you guys, but wanted to stop and smash that like button. Thank you there, Dixon Way.
Thank you,
Always
Dixon Way.
love. And look, Larry, if you do have a spare minute and you want, I've sent you the link. You can hop on. You know, I never mind hearing your awesome voice. Let's see. Coach Raheem changed his tune with the arrogance towards the media questioning his in-game coaching. Yeah, King Richie on the money because that preseason game in Miami, they zipped him back in plastic so fast. Carlo, I remember me and Terry, Smitty, Big Low. I know Uncle Steve was there. God, was Jack Spade there? I believe he was, wasn't he?
That got there late, yeah.
Yeah, he was. But we talked about that. And some of us were like, why would you hide your quarterback, your backup quarterback that you need to give him reps for? And I know a few guys were like, maybe he's hiding him. I'm like, what the heck are you hiding for? I mean, oh, yeah. I was telling everyone the Falcons was hiding Penix when they canceled training camp at Flowery Branch. And it was clear to me that day. But it is what it is. Larry, I know that's why I want you on here to talk about that. Think if you would have seen that rocket arm build, do you really want to see Kirk Cousins, King Richie?
And that's
You are on point, man. And I mean, all right, let's talk about it. So here's the scenario we are in. Can we get in the playoffs? Yes. And let me tell you how. The Saints, who have no Derek Carr, no Taysom Hill, no Alvin Kamara, no, I know Olave's not playing. Everyone's out. Even the Water Boy's out. They got a lot of backups. They got some GQ model as the backup. They got Spencer Rattler, the Pat Mahomes Hallmark character. He's supposed to play in the Pat Mahomes movie for Hallmark. They got him. So I know Minot should be playing. Look, I believe, will play the Buccaneers tough, but the Buccaneers are winning this game.
Absolutely.
I mean, look, the Buccaneers. First of all, Mike Evans is 85 yards from getting 1,000 for 11 straight years. You think Baker Mayfield's not going to hook that man up?
Absolutely.
I mean, they got a running game in Bucky Irving. I mean, I wish we had a quarterback like Baker Mayfield that the team would play for. That's how, when I see Baker play, it's like, say what you want about his ability, the way he plays at times, how wild, I get it. Baker gets those guys behind him. And he's just a guy. He's not like Aaron Rodgers where he knows it all. He's failed. He's flawed. And I think that's what people love about him. And not just that, he's like, bring it. They got swept by us. But they didn't like go, oh, poor pity us. They just put their heads down and kept playing. And
the team was injured.
Yeah. And more people would get hurt, and they were still playing. So, and look, their coach is the ladies' man. God, I can't remember his name all of a sudden. But Todd Bowles, okay? Not just that. And I know people are like, well, I don't want an inexperienced offense coordinator. They are using a first-year's coordinator. And this guy has a good relationship with Baker. And you know what? He gets guys in their positions. So you got them. And they are one game away from going to the playoffs. By the way, those same Buccaneers beat the Detroit Lions. So let's not forget that. And the Lions were a lot healthier that game than they are now.
That's true.
And I can tell you they'll give a game to Minnesota. So I'm looking at this game. I don't see a chance for us to drop it. Now, my question to you. This game is against the Panthers. Little Bryce has been playing. They've been playing very respectable, especially losing Chuba Hubbard. They got blown out by the Bucs, but look, I get it. But if this game becomes a slugfest, what do you think about this game? And I'll give you my thoughts. What do you think, Terry?
I honestly don't know. And I honestly don't know because, again, if we go into halftime and our score is 14-0 Falcons, but we see the Bucks are up by 28 points, you're not going to get very passionate play when you come out in the second half. You're just not. So it really, our game and the execution in our game depends on a lot, or it's contingent upon what's going on in Tampa. If New Orleans is playing with them and it's an even game, you probably get a better performance, right? So a couple of things happen. Number one, Raheem messed us up royally. And there's got to be guys, I don't care what anybody says, there's got to be guys out there that are pissed with him. Look, some teams never get over this, okay?
Yeah.
Say what you will. Matt Ryan had one of the highest rated performances, but there were some Falcons who will go nameless who were pissed at him because he did not audible on that last series.
Yeah.
Because he did not audible, and they never forgave him, right? Look, you didn't start to hear all of that stuff from certain people on the Falcons and their siblings until after the Super Bowl. You didn't start to see this rift until after the Super Bowl, and it's because some of those guys felt like, look, you should cancel that order, either run this damn ball or kneel it, but we need to kick a field goal here. We've got this thing wrapped up, and because he did not do that, I think he lost certain ones on the team. I really do. And you have to be careful doing that. And again, I don't know that we can answer it here, but the question deserves to be asked. Grady Jarrett been here how many years, and you do this? He's just trying to get back to the playoffs, dude. He is, again. I'm not speaking for the man. I'm not, but if it were me, I'd be pissed. So there's a lot going on, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to come in there and give them some sort of Newt Rockney speech. Guys, look I know I didn't call that timeout last week, but we're going to go inside them. We're going to go outside them. We're going to go left, right. We're going to go up, down. We're going to do everything we can. You know what I mean? You're not going to, the inches that we need are all around us. I pissed off everybody who ever loved me. I pissed away all my money. The only thing I can tell you is that there are inches everywhere. Okay? Now, I can't do it for you. But if you look at the guy next to you, I think you're going to see a guy that goes that inch because we claw for that inch. We grind our fingernails for that inch. We kill for that inch. Look at Falcons. Either we win together as a team or we will die as individuals. Raheem can't do that.
Yeah.
Not
Not just that, because I guarantee, I wonder if there will be a player that looks at him and goes, "Will you call timeout if we need it?"
There you go. That's exactly what they're gonna.
Especially this generation.
Well, look I do not know. I don't know the mindset of those Falcons because honestly, I felt like we were let down by the coach.
Yeah.
Like it's rare that you see something so glaring to where you got people in other sports that are like, why didn't he call a timeout?
Yeah.
Did we call a timeout? Like that's how bad this was. This made national media, which again does nothing but drive the narrative that the bumbling Falcons don't know what they're doing. These players are embarrassed because they played their hearts out and lost. I just don't know. Yeah, to answer your question, I'm not trying to be
No, you're fine.
Loquacious or talk to.
No. Just saying. Yeah,
I legitimately cannot give you an answer because I don't know the mindset that they're in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a blow, man. That's a look it. That's like if you worked 2 weeks for overtime and you killed it, and you gonna get this big ass check and your supervisor doesn't submit the OT,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be pissed. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
be 38 hot, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
going to be pissed. And I think, that is a microcosm as to how this Falcon team feels. Look at with everything we went through with Kirk and Koo and 6-3 and 4-game losing streak. It is there. It is right there for us. And all you gotta do is call a timeout and you what? And then you get in front of the media and you what?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I look
I,
at I love my Falcons.
yeah.
I love my Falcons. Let me be clear. I love my Falcons. We have had
Mm,
a love affair for a while.
yeah.
And because of that, I love every player on that team and I love Coach Raheem, but I don't know, C Dub. I
Yeah.
honestly don't. I don't know what we're gonna see on Sunday. What do
Here's what I'm
you
gonna say.
think? Let me ask you that.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Because look, this is how we're gonna roll on this one. It's like this. I can see us playing, but I'm like you. They start seeing that scoreboard, and if they start seeing Tampa just running away with it,
Yeah.
and then there's a maybe even a close option where the coach needs to do something and he doesn't do it. Does the player start taking in their own hands? Maybe they're not as detailed in their assignments. They just, look. I'm not saying quit, but man, we've seen teams literally just give the middle finger to their coaches.
This happened last year.
Yeah.
Same scenario.
Yeah.
Last game, and we need another team to win, and they don't. And this very scenario played out last year. And I mean, again,
Yeah.
I just don't know, man. And it's unfortunate because this team deserved better. Drake
Oh,
deserved
it did. Well,
Grady deserved better.
look.
Ellis deserved better.
Yeah. Well, again, if you win last week, all this is not even talked about.
Right.
This the struggles. You actually could have turned it. It's like the the thing that could have helped you the most, you failed to do. And if it was because of fear of losing, bro, you're in the wrong business. If you want to be loved, if you want people to talk to you, man, work on TV. You have a great smile. You could talk. You can, be eloquent. Don't be a head coach then. Don't. Because and this is the thing I want to talk about. The biggest problem I have with this team or with the coach. Accountability. Every time it was Kurt, it was the defense. He would have a smart answer. Never, hey, I'm gonna take this. We're gonna get better. You've never seen that moment. And when you don't see it and then you see what happened on Sunday where everybody's talking about it, all I gotta say is this. This is the doing of Raheem. Now, should he be fired? Here's the thing. I get everyone saying he deserves another year. I get it, but again, I bring this up. He was a head coach in Tampa, did the same stuff there. Then he goes to the Falcons as an interim, and then here we are. If it's me, I say you got to cut your losses because I protect the logo and protect the quarterback that we have. Let's get a guy that knows what they're doing and go from there. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Terry's got to drop and I got to drop. So, Terry, go ahead and plug your stuff. And, I appreciate you hanging with me, and I can't wait to work with you next week because this is going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. And C-Dub, thank you for all that you've done, sir.
Oh, man.
You have been a tremendous help. And I have really grown to respect and love you and again love our counterparts and respect them. And I just really appreciate it, man. So hey, look, it not trying to be mushy or stuff, but man, could not do this without you. So I can't thank you enough. With that being said, everybody in the chat that joined us, thank you. You could have been anywhere. Well, first off, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Secondly, you could have been anywhere in the world. Today you chose to be with us. And thirdly, there was a lot of foolishness this week on Twitter and folks getting mad. Look at guys, we all support the Falcons. I understand we're disappointed. Let's not take it out on each other. Okay. It's not
Yeah.
that. Last but not least, amen. Thank God. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for everything that you've done. I appreciate it. You can see me on this channel. You can see me on One Time for the Fan. You can see me on For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. And we're going to be doing shows Monday morning, Wednesday morning. We'll be here Thursday morning. And I think for now that's it. There may be some other, but that's it as far as, our affiliation and what we're doing. And look it again, thank you, God. Last but not least, thank you to my family. They've really been there for me. Happy New Year to them. Happy New Year to you guys. And again, I got to thank Mr. Jack Spade and Mr. Eric Parker, for which I would not be, or without, I would not be in this business. So again, C-Dub, thank you, brother. I got to run. I got to go. And everybody in the chat, rise up. You guys be great. Thank you, C-Dub. I'll see
No
you.
problem.
I'll see you sometime.
You,
Tomorrow.
look,
I'll see
each other. You know how that goes. I'll holler at you later, brother.
All right,
You
brother.
take care of what you need. It's all good.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
No problem. All right, so it's just me right now. So let me hit the comments before I sign off with everything here. You know, I like the comment with Richie saying, if you see the rocket arm, do you really want to see Kurt? I get that. I feel the fans want Todd Bowles gone, and the Saints' motivation's up, and New Orleans needs to feel good after the. Is the game going to be in New Orleans? That's my question. If it is, I kind of understand that, but again, it's just a Jimmy and the Joes on this one. I mean, look, guys, anything can happen. I get it. I'm not, but I just don't see Tampa just giving that game away, man. It's going to be a fight, but I don't think it will be that bad. The players are pissed, and that's why they had to do a second interview with Raheem. Some of the things I've seen on Twitter. Look, he's got to go in there and tell the team I fucked up and own it. Heartfelt when he do it the only way. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Richie. And then the bigger question is Terry Fontenot, will Terry be retained? That is a big question. Who was the guy, the driving force behind Kirk Cousins is the question for me. Because if now that's another thing on Raw. Because if Rob was the driving force, and by the way, if y'all are still live with me, hit a 1 and if you would. I mean, I was going to sign off, but if you would like, I could put the link in and we could see who wants to pop in for a chat real quick. You could give your take. Let's just see. I'll go ahead and put it in there. But yeah, I mean, so Terry Fontenot, do you want him, or should we retain him? My thing is this: would I keep him? Like I said, who's the guy that was fighting for Kurt, and who was the one that had the idea to hit the who wanted to get the big guy, which was Penix? And King, go ahead and hit the link, man. Come on in. I'll let you in. It's all good. And if that's the case, I mean, I would not let. I mean, my thing was I want a clean slate. You have a team, you have a coach, but you have this quarterback too, and you need to be able to find guys that can, magnify this offense. And I'm going to tell you, Ben Johnson's out there. I have a feeling if you offered the job to Ben Johnson, I think Ben would take this job because of the fact, one, you're in the NFC South. Two, you have a quarterback that kind of plays like golf does. You have a guy that has not just that, but look at the receivers you'll have. Mooney, you'll have, you know, and if we keep Algier and Tyler, or not Tyler, Algier and Bijan, you got a double header monster that he knows how to use. Because look what he did with Montgomery and, you know, oh God, I know his name. I can see it. I can't say his name. All of a sudden, the running back. Links on the chat. Hold on. I got you. Here we go. I got it in there. Gibbs, thank you. Thank you. I was struggling, LaDarius. You know how that goes. But yeah, you got Gibbs, and I mean, you see what they do. You can work an offense around that. The offensive line ain't super bad. They've really held good. It's just, when you hold on to the ball long, they're going to get to you. You could get a tight end. I think you can find a deal for, Kyle Pitts. But yeah, I think there would be an option there. I'd like to look at Joe Douglas as a GM option. I mean, you can also talk to Riddick. But I think with the Falcons, you just need to clean a lot of this trash out. And, Raheem, there's a lot of leaks going around. I didn't bring this up, but that's the thing I've also noticed. There's so many leaks. And then when you ask questions about it, Raheem is like aggravated you're asking these questions, So hold on, I'm going to do something just to make sure. Oh, nice action figures. Yes, I know. I'm an action figure freak. I'll also show off my Transformer over here, Mr. Knight Rider. This kid. This man's badass. Yeah. Agent Zero, but it's Knight Rider. He looks just like Kid. It's awesome. Hold on. It's awesome. That's my homeboy. All right, let me go here. Nope. Go there. Okay. All right. And then let me see if I can pin this here. No, well, let me do it. All right. So yeah, put that in there. So let's just see. I'll give it about. Oh, we got King Richie. Cool. King, what you got, brother?
Man, CDouble, I'm gonna keep it real. Now imagine we in preseason, right?
Yeah. Talk to me.
You see that? See, we only seen really, truthfully, one real pass from him.
Yeah.
Remember, they just ran the ball. Imagine if imagine if that boy would play all 3 games and you'd have seen that arm, and just say we'd have won all 3. Something we haven't done in a long time in the preseason, right?
Yeah.
There is absolutely no way you can stick Kirk Cousins on that field during the season. There's no
I know
way.
that. I feel you.
I think to an extent, a lot of stuff that I'm not negating the timeout part with Raheem, right?
Yeah.
But remember his interview, he said we really weren't going to see Michael Penix to 2027.
Exactly.
Truthfully. He wanted Kirk to play for 3 years. Not, I think his hands were sort of tied to a degree because you got to, in my mind, I look at it like this. The boy got an arm. We put it like this. We got a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I noticed during that game, regardless of him looking like a rookie, I really seen what Matt Ryan was talking about.
Yeah.
The reason them short and intermediate throws don't work because he doesn't set his foot. His footwork is a little off.
Yeah.
But even though that's the knock on him coming out of college, I think that's something that can be fixed because they probably just didn't take the time to show him the footwork. So if Kurt would have worked out By the time we'd have seen Michael Penix, we wouldn't have worried about footwork or none of that, truthfully.
Mm-hmm.
Because by that time, he'd have been taking time with the ones. See, they wanted to slow roll that thing like Green Bay did for Jordan Love. And and the reason why I feel like Terry job is safe is because of Michael Penix. See, it's a lot of things that play into this season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we hadn't had a quarterback behind Kirk Cousins and our season was a waste, yeah, Terry, you can go and get the hell up out of here.
Yeah.
But because, see, what we fail to forget is Terry played football too. So he's not a regular GM. He probably looked at Kirk in practice and said, "Nah, we got to draft us a quarterback." You know, right before when because since he played, he know how injuries work. Now, I didn't think Kirk Cousins would be ready this year, but I know he's a good quarterback, so I thought he could have fought through the miscues because every athlete know it really take 2 years to come back from an Achilles. That's why I don't think they're going to get rid of Grady either, because for him to have an Achilles and still play the way he played, next year that Achilles will be a whole lot better. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Not saying Grady don't deserve his money, but Grady may want to. Well, before this game, Grady may have wanted to restructure. I don't know what, because the stuff I've been seeing on Twitter, them team, because I follow a lot of the teammates. They ain't really they don't seem too happy. They saying stuff indirectly without saying it. For me to follow one of them players, and I forgot which one it was, to literally say they may not watch the playoffs this year, which we know you are, but you get what I'm saying. It's just that lets you know how hurt they are, because like I keep telling people, regardless of all the miscues on the team, the non-tackling and all that, and even the Malone in coverage, the reason why I can excuse this whole team is because I watch my team play their fucking hard out.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to curse on your podcast, but this shit that really irritated me, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen, because it's happened all the time. Remember when Shanahan beat the Chiefs in the regular season, but when they went to the Super Bowl, what did we say? Everybody watched that game that we played when it was 14-7, and we beat them during the regular season. So all they're gonna do is take our tape from when we played Washington. Because one thing I can say, the second half we may have had some missed tackles and some blunder, but that first half, boy, Dan Quinn didn't know what to do with us.
Yeah.
You didn't see him on them sidelines going crazy because he thought we was still in. Because see, he know Raheem. So he know Raheem gonna run the same cover that he run, the cover 3 with the satellites and the shells and the hybrids and all of that.
Yeah.
I think they still remember the first couple of, I think the first 1 or 2 drives, we were back in that soft cover.
Mm-hmm.
I think he realized Dan Quinn knew him, so he passed the buck along. Okay, let me let Jimmy Lake call plays out of his. You know what I'm saying? I think they sort of switched it up, and whatever they did, man, they clicked on our defense. Man, our defense played lights out.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to be tired the second half, because now they got to run around and chase him all day. But they had him in the pocket. It's just when we went back to that soft cover shell and started sending 2 and 3 instead of 4 and 5 like we've been doing, that's why I say the coaches really let this team down, C-Dub. Because Kyle, as much as we give Kyle Pitts, heck, now I really don't even want to get rid of him, because Michael Penix might be the one that can open him up. Because I watched Kyle Pitts play his heart out in this game. I've never seen him come out the line like the way he was. And come on, see, when have you ever seen Kyle come out the line? Even when he didn't get the ball, he came out the line with real grit. This the one game I ain't never seen Kyle push people out the way. They had him on a blocking scheme. He actually chip blocked correctly and pushed off. That man went off in this game, so I don't understand how when he going off, you take him out, sit him on the sideline, and you bring the other tight end out. So I'm thinking we running right.
Uh-huh.
They got Warner out there running seams and flats and drags. I'm like, hold up. I get you do the change of pace, but this one thing I hate about our coaching staff. It seems like every coaching staff we get, when it works, they go away from it. That
Yeah.
team could not stop Kyle Pitts in
Yeah.
that game Sunday night, bro.
Hello, how are you
At
guys
my
doing?
line,
What's
though,
up?
CW, much as we
No, I hear
give.
you. Hold on, Richie. I'm gonna let you keep going, but just give me a second. What's up, Buck Skull? How you
What's up,
doing?
man? I'm doing good. I watched the Falcon game. As a Bucks fan, the Falcons should be where they not should be at right now. The, as a Bucks
Go-
fan, the Rodney Morris is not a good head coach. You wonder why he got fired a couple of times. You wonder why he hasn't exceeded where he's at.
No, I got you. Trust me. That's what I was talking about. Is just when you see the incompetence that he's doing, you kind of go, well, what is going on? And then when we just hear some of the comments he's making, it's like, do you not get what the word accountability is?
Well, my thing is, I don't know how the Falcons at 6-3. I don't know what happened in the locker room from 6-3 until after that point. I don't know what happened. I really don't know. Do you guys know why? 6-3, two lost 4 games straight. I don't
Yeah.
know who's to blame. Is it Kirk? Is it the coaching staff? We don't know.
Oh,
I
it's the
don't know.
coach because he kept him in there too long.
Yeah. I
Definitely
mean,
the coach.
the coach didn't want to be looked bad upon, and he wanted to keep Kurt in there because, like Richie was saying, we were told in the off season that we
Belichick was
weren't going to
answered.
see Penix. That
I think we
Penix
have
was going to
Belichick.
be. Yeah, go ahead.
My thing is, what happened to the Belichick? You guys interviewed him twice. What really happened behind closed doors? What really?
I mean, my opinion is what I've always said. That was the first time that in Hell Frozen Over, Terry Fontenot and Kyle and Rich McKay came together and literally begged and pleaded Arthur to let them make the call and not get Belichick because they were afraid they were going to lose their jobs.
But you know, if Belichick went in there, everybody lost their job.
Oh, I
Let's keep
agree.
that real. Because you
But
Hold on.
remember, matter of fact, you don't
but
remember
when
C-Dub. Guess who
when
he
you
was
want to
trying to
hire
bring back
an
on his staff, though?
eight-time 8-time Super Bowl champion, 6 times with the Patriots, 2 times with the Giants, 8-time Super Bowl breadwinner champion. It doesn't make sense.
No,
Is it
It,
I
it
was it the
agree.
money? Was it
it
about money?
doesn't, but it does. Because when you run a business, I'm gonna be honest, when you run a business and you already got your managers in place, that's just like me. Okay, with my logistics company, I already got managers in place. If if I go switch the managers out for one position, because you gotta understand, Bill Belichick. See, and then another point I was gonna make, see, though, remember Bill Belichick, guess who he wanted to bring back on his staff with him? I
Who?
think we had him before, Scott Pioli.
Yeah, I think
And
But
Pioli is
Atlanta
going to have
don't
to
really
come back
like
if he
Scott
wanted to.
but you could be
Pioli.
champ. Let me guess. You guys who wanted you guys almost beat the Patriots, but you don't want the one to bring him here to come to save this to save you.
I
No,
I
we don't want you to bring your staff. We want you. That's
hold
what
on.
the real issue is.
I truly believe Arthur Blanks was at the point he didn't care. He wanted
Why did you interview him
whoever.
twice? It doesn't make no
Oh
sense. You
no no
interview
no
him.
no no no. Hear what I'm saying. I believe Arthur wanted him,
Yeah,
no
Arthur
matter
wanted him.
what.
Remember,
He
Arthur
wanted
pulled out
Bill.
the yacht.
That's why he talked to Bill. He was trying to, find out what would it take. Would he be willing to work with? And then as Bill's learning these guys, honestly, I think Bill did push back some because he's going, Arthur, there's a reason why you're in this situation. Look who you're trusting. Have y'all noticed ever since? I mean, it's been very relevant this at the end of the year. Belichick has, or not Belichick, but Arthur Blank's been having his son with him a lot more.
Wrong.
Yeah, you know, he
Ronnie
said, I
Morris.
think they
Hey,
said his
Ronnie
son was
Morris
going to
should be
take over
fired.
after him.
Ronnie Morris should be fired Sunday. After this game, he should be fired.
You
But
can't.
he's
I'm gonna tell you why you can't fire Raheem after
but
1
it's a lot of
year.
great. It's a lot of
No,
great.
no. Let
It's
me
a lot of
explain
great
to you
candidates
why
in
you
there.
can't. Though, let me
It's a,
explain to you why you can't. If
candidates.
you think you missed out on Bill Belichick, fire Raheem after 1 year and see what other good coach gonna want to come here, because they're gonna feel like if I
The
make
money.
one mistake, you're gonna fire me. If Ben Johnson come here right now in place of Raheem, and he made, first of all, that's if he want to come, because you done
You got
fired
Pete
your
Carroll
head.
available. You got John Gruden available. You got the Bucks
Ain't
coach
nobody bringing
available.
John Gruden here. Now, I can promise you that.
One-time Super Bowl champion. You sure you don't want him? He
No,
can
you
play
don't
ball.
want. Nah, they not Gruden. They not bringing John Gruden here. I can
Hold on.
promise
I
you
got
that.
an idea. Let's
You
hear
have,
me out.
but you can connect the keys because the old staff with the
He a
you got the
media.
old manager.
Him and the
You
media
connect the
don't
staff.
mix.
Hold
Him and
on.
the
I got a
media.
question. I got a
I'll be back.
question,
I'll be back
guys.
to Elon. So I'll be back later. Sorry.
No, you good. Look, if here's what I'm going to say. Look at it this way. I believe this Sunday, if those players quit on Raheem, I actually think Arthur Blanks has no choice but to fire him.
Now is
Because,
that now CDouble? I will say now
mm-hmm,
that I'm with you on, because see he he sort of screwed himself, because, and I was rooting for him even though you won my pick. You know what I'm saying? As coach,
mm-hmm,
what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? But I knew none of the coaches I wanted were gonna come here because we didn't have a quarterback. I've never been keen on Bill Belichick. I understand who he is and what he won, but the game in my mind has surpassed him. That's
yeah, I
why
got
he
you.
couldn't make it work. Cause Mac Jones really not a bad quarterback. He ain't the greatest neither, but he ain't bad. You went to the playoffs with him 1 year, but couldn't do it the second. So that let me know that the game has sort of surpassed your level of play. Cause these offensive coordinators now throwing to left tackles and stuff.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I wasn't really keen on him, but when we got Raw, I was rooting for him, but I'm gonna be honest. The way this team played their heart out for you, and it wasn't one of them that let you down. It was the head coach that let them down. You may have lost that locker room, honestly.
Yeah.
And I
That's
really
exactly.
honestly think that's where that second interview came from. Because not only did the world want to know why you didn't call a timeout, your players wanted to know. And you don't know. We don't know if the players could have went to Terry behind Raheem Morris back. Because you gotta understand, all these players been here. You ain't been here. So you don't know what kind of reported players got with Arthur Blank and Terry. I wouldn't be surprised if Arthur Blank was looking at the TV screen or up in the stadium or whatever, screaming, about to have a heart attack, screaming, call a timeout.
And that's why I'm bringing this up. What were the expectations? If Raheem, and that's why I keep coming back to it, because he was so full of himself, he damn near bragging, and then being like, "We're a playoff team. We're a playoff team." If you're a playoff team, then you need to execute at the end. And look,
And you know
I keep,
what, CW, you actually right, because that's just like having a woman and you come in buying all these gifts and setting these expectations, then you just stop. She gonna look at you sideways. So when the team go out there and play their heart out for you like that, and you go out there and just instead of just saying, now one thing I do respect about Arthur Smith.
mm-hmm,
Arthur Smith will get out there and tell all y'all, if y'all, I messed up. It is what it is. What you gonna
yeah,
do about it?
that's accountability. I mean, he was cursed. He was where he was blunt to people, but the thing was, you knew what he meant. My thing is with Raw, it's this. When it comes to accountability, he don't know what that is. And yeah, if this was not only that, the Falcons became Super Bowl or bust when you signed Kirk Cousins for 90 million guaranteed 2 years. And now we're talking about cutting him. Oh, another dead cap now? So, and which, by the way, you can work around it, but the thing is, who's the one that wanted him the most? And I'll tell you, it was Raw.
Oh yeah,
And
it was because he wanted Penix to sit. He didn't want to start
yeah,
Penix off the rip. That plain to see that I see because I understand what you wanted to do. That's why I said if we hadn't had Penix, then Terry job on the line at that point
oh yeah,
because Arthur gonna be like, well, Terry, I understand Rame didn't know, but you know me and you been working together. You supposed to come back even if it's behind his back and tell me because a GM and the owner relationship different because it's financial. And that's what a
yeah,
lot of people don't understand. Terry, even though Raw can go to blank about football, having a financial relationship with a businessman is way different than having a sports relationship with a businessman.
yeah.
So,
By the way, let me catch up on these comments real quick. I know we've been talking, but give me a second, okay? I
oh yeah,
wanted Aaron Glenn as a coach from Detroit as well. It is what it is. I'm just saying, coach doesn't know how to manage the clock. Either he admits it or he needs to go. And like I said, just give me a sec because I want to catch up on these. As the Bucks fans really thought the Falcons would win. As a Bucks, he listen to this. As a Bucks fan, he thought the Falcons were going to win the division. We had the tiebreaker, and the Bucks are 1 win away from going to the playoffs. And we don't control anything. That's the sad part. Taught my son when he was young how to open a business. He sold his collectibles, Star Wars, and Legos, and bought a car. Awesome. Falcons should have made the playoffs yep, I agree. Pitts knew his job was in jeopardy. I agree too, but I'm kind of also with Richie. I like it's like this. Whoever would come here to be GM or head coach or new head coach, whoever, they need to look at the roster and be very critical and be like, will this guy play and can he fit what we do? If not, and he doesn't want, let's find a place and let's try to get draft picks. We need something. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just the only that BB wanted to restructure AB's structure. It was going to happen, period. It wasn't a fit for the Falcons. Okay. Well, yeah. BB wanted his staff. He just didn't want to coach. I'm sorry. AB's son wasn't having it either. Okay. Well, but look what we're stuck with. Gruden's not coming to Atlanta for the same reason to get rid of. Yeah, I'm not even worried about the Gruden thing. I get it. Exactly what QB was developed. All right, we'll talk about all that later. I'm not. Everyone wants to hit on Belichick, but it's like, look, I'm not. It's more. There are more people out there than Belichick. Expectations was expectations, playoffs, Super Bowl bust for the Falcons this year. Yep, and it happened when you got Kirk Cousins. I agree. The Falcons should draft Tunsil. Well, look, guys, I know we're gonna hear all these. What was it? And you know what? Drafting quarterback looks great now after this mess. But
hey,
yeah, go ahead.
and the quarterback that we drafted.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so here's what I'm gonna say. So I mean, because Richie, I'm gonna let you cook some more. When you see this team, I come back to this. So now, Carol. Now look, let's go back to that game. Yeah, you gave up the cookies and next thing you know, they were scoring all over you. But the thing is, you stopped them after that game tying touchdown.
And
They
that's why
had
I
the
keep
ball.
going back to what you said about the locker room, because even with the defense, that's why I said I can't blame nobody on the team, because even
Yeah,
with the defense miscued, when you needed a stop, they got you a stop. That's
you
all
got
you
to
can ask for.
yeah, you got to stop. You had 2 timeouts left. You, honest to God, had everything you could have asked for.
And wasn't it like a minute 40 still on the clock?
It was something like that, yeah. And then when we did that first play, it's like, okay, call a timeout. Call a timeout now. No, because it was like 30 something, but you were in good field position. He threw the ball, Mooney caught it, you call a timeout.
But see, you know what else that made me feel like too?
Mm.
And me and my daddy were talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how long it take to run a play neither. Because I think you was thinking that if you call a timeout, you may cut the time for running a play too. So that let me know that you don't even know a play can be had in about 3-4 seconds if you got the right play.
Yeah. And
You
he
see what I'm
doesn't do
saying?
anything on offense. He doesn't call any offensive plays. It's like and not only that, look at the games that we saw on Saturday where the Bengals and the Broncos. You saw those coaches running to the refs, calling timeouts. They weren't wasting time.
Hey, and that was another thing made me mad. Even
Mhm.
Dan Quinn running up and down the
Yeah.
sideline. Why you can't run up and down the sideline? Because you didn't see what Dan Quinn asked Jaden Daniels what the F was that. He asking his own quarterback, what the F play was that you doing out there?
Mhm.
Because the defense had, man, I'm telling people, man, the defense had that boy shook that first half. Remember, they took a knee. They bowed out with about 10 seconds left.
Yeah. And then we have our coach. And look, we had 3 timeouts left at the end of the first half. They don't roll over. They don't need to go into the refrigerator. You can use them.
And the crazy part is you did the same thing in the second half that you did in the first half before the halftime.
Yes. And they were criticizing you then too. And then you hear these press conferences. Oh, we were going to celebrate regard. Wait, what?
How you
Why don't you
celebrate?
just?
You know what? That's what they did in the Super Bowl. Remember, Alfred said that
Mm-hmm.
halftime when Alfred played for the Patriots, they asked him what happened. Alfred said, "I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. We was in there popping champagne at halftime. We weren't even going over plays." I said, "What?"
Man, and that's
That let me know, Raw. You ain't learned nothing. At least I can see Dan Quinn learned something.
yeah. You got to play all 4 quarters. You can't be playing one and think you got it all.
And that's why
And
Drake made that comment. What them 1,000 yards supposed to mean to him? I mean, it may get them extra money on his check, but these young boys don't care about the money because they already got it. These
mm-hmm.
boys will tell you know what? This team tasted that playoffs. That's why they played the way they played. They tasted
Yeah,
it.
and that
They,
what, and that's why I keep going back to. Not only that, these guys had an opportunity. They gave you an opportunity to win this game in regulation. If you would have gotten the field goal with maybe 5 seconds left, Jalen Daniels ain't driving the
man, they'd
field.
have took a knee like they did the first half.
Well, they would have had enough time because that would have been the game. But
I
that's
mean, he
what
could
I'm
have
saying.
did a Hail Mary, but man, I don't think that team was almost defeated after for the first half. If you look in their faces, they were defeated.
And they were like, did this just happen? And they made sure and used it against us because, boy, they never gave us the ball back. And I know people are always about, oh, well, we didn't get the ball back. I hate the overtime rule. Hey, look, you got to stop.
Man,
I
look,
mean, there are three
we
phrases
wouldn't
to
even
the team.
if he'd have called that timeout, we wouldn't even be discussing overtime. So to me,
Yeah,
hey, idiot. That's why I keep telling people, man, I ain't worried about that Saints game. Because if I got to root for the Saints to win for us to go to the playoffs, we just won't be going.
yeah. And not just that. My thing is this: it's when you put us in this position, you're the one that has to do this. We don't. We're not going to root for the Saints. We're just going to watch this game and just go, how are
And
you going to?
it's just like you can't. I don't want to depend on Tampa Bay because it was right there in our hands. I never see, man. Think about it, C-Dub. When have you seen your team play like this in one collective game as a whole, regardless of the Penix miscues? Because he only played 2 games.
Exactly.
So past him not having chemistry with his receivers to know where they like the ball,
Mm-hmm.
Even though people are them easy throws to make, yeah, they easy throws to make, but do you know where your receivers want the ball at?
Yeah.
That's the difference. He can throw it, and like one of the dudes I seen that did the all 22 when he did that pass to Bijan, he said that was Kurt being Kurt. He was like that play was really more on Bijan because he turned his head around instead of just keep running and then turn around. He said your wide receiver never supposed to turn his head until he breaks away from the cover. Bijan turned his head while he was running with the cover, and that's what actually because I think he said he think Bijan was fast enough to get that, which actually he is.
Mm-hmm.
But with all of those miscues, all you had to do was run the ball one time to probably get you an extra 10 yards. I think a little extra 10 would have did. I don't even think you need to be at the 40.
Yeah.
He was just at the
From
64.
a 56, you could have made it into like a 48, 49. I guarantee he would have hit it.
Yeah, and that's my whole thing. It's the same Super Bowl situation. Run the ball, kick a field goal, we win the game, we in the playoffs. We not even having any discussion. Raheem, your job safe. Everybody job safe.
Yeah.
Because say what you want by Zach Robinson. Yeah, I was mad he took Kyle Pitts out when Kyle Pitts was running, but he actually showed me something in this game. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you. I could tell. I see what the problem is. He don't have the quarterback yet that he can open his playbook up. Because think about it, we start seeing misdirections. We start seeing Bijan doing street routes. Now the spacing is still a problem, but that's some stuff you can get corrected, on the off season. But he had a good enough playbook where your quarterback on 4th and 26 made a touchdown throw to the tight end that ain't nobody seen all season.
Mm-hmm. I mean, of all people that got that touchdown, it was Kyle Pitts. And look, it kind of feels perfect. And that's why I was saying, I look at this team and it's like, I'm not trying to say this team doesn't, like Raheem deserves to be fired. But what I'm saying is when you're talking your ish, when you're, you know, literally telling people we're going to outrun the South, when you're telling, and you're videoing this, you're putting it out there.
And you did. That's the worst part about
Mhm.
it. You did it. You literally outran the South in the first half of the season.
I mean, here's something. You remember the video that came out about when, Ryan Clark is looking at Raheem going, how are you going to get these guys
Oh, yeah, with the defense. Yep.
to stop these guys and to make plays? He's like, I'm going to believe in them. I'm going to put that belief in them. Did you put that belief in them when you didn't call timeout?
That's exactly why you took the word right out of my mouth. See, me hanging around my younger cousins, I sort of know how the younger generation thinks.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say that slick under their breath or to your face when you say something to them that you know how do you say something to him he don't want to hear. Well, I did. Like prime example. You can say what you want about Kyle Pitts, and this why Kyle Pitts act the way he act. Cause he like, look, when I do my job, now the coach can't even call a time. You get what I'm saying? Like, you didn't give yourself no leeway with your players, and you may have lost that locker room in 1 year. I'm just being real. As much as I like you,
yeah, and
I sort of see where C-Dub coming from. Cause for
and
Drake
that's what I
London to
keep
tell
saying.
you he don't care about them 1,000 yards, that lets you know he had playoff in his eyes. Because the only person left from this team that ever been to a playoff is Jake Matthews and Grady Cherry.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, and I think Bates played in the playoffs, so I know that.
Bates.
Yeah,
you might make him don't want to renew and go back to Cincy.
Yeah, and look, all I'm gonna say is this: you had an opportunity to win this game, and when you didn't call those timeouts, the guys on the sideline around you were not just your coaches, but were the defense. The same defense you pretty much hung out there to dry. And I'm telling you,
And
This
they already
generation,
tired from chasing that man the whole game, and then
yeah,
you want to go into a overtime where you already know all he can do is run the ball. I think
hmm
the team gave up in overtime. Truthfully, I said
I
it
do
to
too.
myself.
Uh,
I said, "Boy, this defense gave up in overtime. I know y'all could have got a stop, but they like for what at this
yeah,
point."
he ain't gonna try to win the game. He's not trying to win. He wants to. He's trying. Hold on. It even came out that if that game ended in a tie, he wouldn't have control either. So you can't even say, "Oh, I was trying to play for the tie."
And
This,
see, that's the ugly part, see, Doug, because with everything you saying, I didn't even look at it that way. Because at first I was on the Fire Raheem train. When I sat down and thought about it, I'm like, it's so much stuff went wrong. I can't blame him for everything. You see what
hmm
I'm saying? But you may have deflated your team. You may have deflated because your team came in with their chest poked out in that Washington game.
yeah, they played. Look, coming to the game, I told people this will be the best Falcon played game you'll see. It will be. They played well in prime time. They're not going to blink. I really believed it, and sure enough, they played well. And that's the one thing that stuck out to me. Even though they gave up the lead, they after the touchdown that when we threw the ball to Pitts, once that happened, they made a stop and basically said, "Go win us the game."
Basically, hey, and then what made it so bad, if you look at the sideline when Kyle Pitts made that catch, everybody came to congratulate him.
Yeah,
Everybody came to Drake was the first one over there in the end zone congratulating him. So now I sort of don't want to get rid of Pitts because one thing I know about Michael Penix from watching him at Washington, he likes tight ends. He may be the one that, because you got one thing I do understand is that he's around their age. So he, even though Kirk is a leader, like they said, he's more like a dad.
mm-hmm,
Penix gonna be more like their homeboy.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? Because they all
yeah,
around the same age. So that may have infused, and Penix can actually get Kyle the ball.
mm-hmm,
So with Pitts now, I sort of do want to see one season with him and Penix just to see. And it's like, but it's like almost like we got all these free agents now because you squandered the season, bro.
yeah,
Now we got a whole list of free, even though I don't want to keep about 5 of them, but you get what I'm saying. It's just this wasn't the year for you to fumble the ball with a timeout because we gave up draft picks, we signed extra people, we spent a little bit more money because the whole facility believed in you this year. And by them believing in you this year, because you can't see, that's why I said it's like having a girlfriend. You came in, set a standard, like you said, CDouble, with all the press conferences. We here to
mm-hmm,
win now and later.
exactly.
Who? Because you think about it, even when we got the team together, even Vegas had us paired to 10.5 games.
I know.
How you screw up the Vegas cut?
I
Most
bet you
teams at
Vegas
least
ain't
make
looking at us.
what, because most teams at least make the cut that Vegas say they gonna make. Vegas almost had us at 11, 12 games.
I mean, here's the thing. Your coach was so full of himself, didn't want to make a change with his assistants, didn't want to make any changes with the quarterback. And yet people are saying camaraderie. You want these jokers to keep working together? I mean, my thing is, what would that tell the football team? Especially when you say accountability.
Because you can't even put this game on Jimmy Lake. Because
No.
Jimmy Lake called the hell of a game, truthfully. As much as I hate to say it and admit it, Judon shouted out Jimmy Lake when he was mic'd up and during the game.
Yeah.
So you got Jimmy Lake They doing their thing. Zach Robinson actually finally calling a halfway decent game. And it's the head coach that fumbled the ball. Because you may have your offensive, because see, everybody may be mad at Raheem right now. Because think about it. Your offensive coordinators want to win too, because what that do, give them the possibility to go somewhere else and be head coaches.
Exactly.
You would have redeemed Jimmy Lake's name had you could remember, because they ran him out of Washington.
Yeah.
You'd have redeemed his name on the NFL level. Like, it's just so much that go into him not calling that timeout. You probably gave Arthur Blank a heart attack, and I'm just gonna be honest, because he almost gave me one for real.
Mm-hmm. And look, that's why I said with this team, you said it was the playoffs. You said this team, if it didn't have a quarterback, you wouldn't be here. And then, oh, well, I mean, you even said Desmond Ridder wasn't the guy to carry us. Okay. But you're bringing in a struggling Kirk Cousins. And you saw how that game, that was a batted pass away from a loss.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, oh, we're going to put in Michael Penix. Really? I didn't think that came from you. And that right there told me. Bet your Arthur had a nice chat with him.
I don't even think it was Arthur. People keep thinking it's Arthur. I think it was Terry. Because right now they joined at the hip. You got to remember that. Yeah. They joined at the hip right now because us not getting Belichick branded y'all at the hip.
Thank you. That was the other thing.
And that's what I'm trying to tell people. Yeah. Terry won't leave this year, but if we go have a messed up season next year, they already all packaged together.
And the reason, look, I normally would give a full year before saying a coach needs to go. But man, you're seeing it. His pride, I believe, has turned the fan base away from the Falcons. Or they love the Falcons, they love the logo, they don't like him.
He messed it up. And then it's not even that you didn't call the timeout. It's the fact that, like, that's why I said, if you'd have went to that stand like how even though Sean Payton went up there and be like, look, we just got our ass whooped. It is what it is. You could have just went up there and be like, look, I fucked up. Excuse my language, but I fucked up. I didn't call the timeout. I was thinking this, and this. But it's all on me. Put it like this. What you said in that second interview, it shouldn't have took to that second interview for you to say. It's basically what I mean.
I'm with you, brother.
So
right. Yeah,
you should have came in there off the rip and did that. Everybody would have just respected you because at least he realized he messed up. It's your first year as a head coach fully, so we'd have understood that. But when you come in there stumbling and bumbling and fumbling and thinking that we ain't played football either, or we don't have football knowledge either, or we don't sit up on these podcasts 4-5 hours talking football while you in your office sitting behind in AC behind a desk, we up here 4-5 hours analyzing film just like y'all do. So when you brought that to us like that, we looking like, hold up. Even my 10, you know how some people is, even my 10-year-old knew to call a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
And he played Madden. He ain't even a real coach.
You know, Madden turns you into one. But what's funny, look, all I'm going to say is this. That's why I think it's like, I want to see how they play. If they play hard and win, you know what? I will not be surprised because that's the professional and also, but if I hear news of Rod being fired, I'm not going to be surprised either because all I have asked is what was the expectation of this year? And if it was the playoffs, if it was playoffs or bust, you're not in the playoffs. And you have no reason because you wanted your guy. You wanted your coach. You got it all.
And that's the thing that I'm looking at even though I don't want to see you gone, I don't never want to see even Arthur Smith. I had grace for him the first year. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But if you lost that locker room, you're gonna have to go because next season they not gonna believe in you next. So you remember what happened after that Super Bowl with that embrace the suck? Them players was not playing the same.
No, and not just that. The one thing that bothered me the most. So you didn't want nobody from Kyle's staff to be the offense coordinator, but you wanted whoever came after Kyle to call Kyle's playbook. You
Steve
can't do that.
Sarkisian.
Yeah,
And then
but
threw him under the bus because
yeah,
we really didn't have a bad season. It's
no.
just you asking a man instead of creating his own playbook, you ask him to call another man playbook.
And I've said this many times. Sarkisian could have been really great for us if he
Yeah,
would have done his own playbook. All he had to do was just use those running backs, use Matt
man,
Steele's
look,
play pass.
what, and that's why I keep telling people, y'all keep saying, oh, Sarkisian wasn't a good OC. Nigga, how you think we got Bijan?
Yeah,
Who you think Bijan came from?
come on.
So you can't tell me he don't know how to run the offense because I'm watching them tread through the college ranks.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's what now they next to Alabama and Georgia for real.
Yeah, and they got a game tonight. I'm trying to verify about it looks like the Sugar Bowl got canceled. So I'm gonna verify that before I actually make that clear because I'm still looking it up. But yeah, so in total,
That make it so hard, CDouble, because now that you said that, I got to look at it from that standpoint because once your players go to complaining about the timeout, it's hard. Even though you may want to keep them, it's like I don't know. That's like you said. If they play this game the way, if they play this game hard, which I ain't gonna lie, I doubt they are. They gonna play, but it ain't gonna be the play that we seen against Washington.
yeah,
I just don't see it because you done took the air out they balloon. Cause now you need Washington to lose to Dallas and you need Tampa Bay to lose to the Saints. You need two things to happen at one time.
all
And do
right,
you really see Dallas beating the Commanders?
yeah, I know. And look, the only way is you're putting out all your backups in, possibly. But I look, I don't see it. Um, Washington's beating us, so it doesn't matter at this point. And then, like I said, the Saints. You got to have the Saints beat the Bucks, and I don't see it. I mean, doubting Thomas. Okay, that's me because I'm looking at a Falcon. I'm more looking at the Falcons going. I am going to be very stunned if this team acts like this loss didn't happen. Because I'm sorry, something like this
That's
in the
detrimental. And in the game in Tampa too.
Mm-hmm.
Now the only way I would see Tampa Bay losing is if they really want to get rid of Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
But I don't see no team being right down there at the playoffs and wanting to just give it up. I'm sorry. I don't see. One thing I know about Baker Mayfield, he ain't finna let you just give up like that. Baker Mayfield ain't doing it. He got an ego. He ain't finna do no laying down. Baker's always had an ego, even though the NFL inflated it a little bit. But since he been with Tampa Bay, he's starting to slowly gain that, and that's what I'm scared of—a Baker with an ego that's actually comfortable now. It's gonna be hard to beat him. Like let's just keep it
Not just that.
real.
It's not just that his ego. He just is the kind of guy that makes you want to play for him. He's going to get you the ball. He's going to, not only that, he's putting his body on the line. He's going for, he's trying to win games. And
that's what I mean. Even when your quarterback threw a pick, he was the one that stopped the pick that he threw, and you still threw the game.
Yeah.
That man throwing his body on the line to stop the man from getting a touchdown at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. He's the one that brought him down.
And it's just so irritating, CDouble, because it's like, for all the people that be like, oh, well, y'all just play man and all of this, it's just like, bro, man, so close to real coaching, bro, y'all really don't understand. And I also played football, but you can't really knock a person on Madden neither, because the way they make it is so realistic. Anybody would have knew to call a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
Like you
I mean,
said, they folks that
everybody.
don't even play football, that's like, why you didn't call a timeout?
It became one of those. Everybody was just going, are we seeing the same thing? I've never seen different podcasters that don't even talk about the Falcons talking about us. That was so dumbfounded. And I'm just going,
And it's one podcaster, he a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and he like our team. So as long as
yeah,
we ain't playing them, he do the breakdown on us, and he like, why didn't he call a timeout?
yeah,
Like, these people don't even like I ain't gonna say they don't like our team, but they're not real fans of our team, and even they know to call a timeout.
exactly. And not just that, it's sad at this point. It's like we are known for blunders like this than our successes. And you
And
got to,
that's why the media won't never let us get on top, because
no,
I will say one thing. Every time we get the media on our side, we go do something stupid. I'm just gonna be real, we do.
yeah,
Cause even remember when we got Kurt, the media said, yeah, they probably gonna win by 11, 12 games. They ain't gonna be. I see why they picked the quarterback. They ain't gonna be in the top so and so, because they got Kirk Cousins. That didn't work, and we still had a chance despite that not working. To
yeah,
me, that was God. Say what you want, because usually when the head quarterback go out the season really over, you just getting your rookie in there to get some reps like we did
yeah,
Desmond Riddle. But you really and truthfully, you honestly, the way you went up there, threw your quarterback under the bus, he may not like you either no more. And
yeah.
you slicked through the kicker under the bus, because you knew that man couldn't make no 64, whatever that was. You knew that was out his range.
It's like this. You threw your kicker, you threw your quarterback, you threw your lineman. You and then the thing is you actually have to really think about it, because you go, man, he threw those guys under. No, that defense also looking at him, going, "You're not calling a timeout. We could win this." There is no way in hell that these players are not being like how we are. They're not looking at it going, that's just raw being raw. No, they're probably pissed off too.
Because like you said, you came in and set a standard. Had you just said we gonna see what this season bring, then cool. But you came in, we outrun the South, didn't the play like you had a whole plan for it, but you didn't have a plan to call a timeout after your defense just got off the field, so they know that if you fumble this, they're gonna have to be right. But I don't think your defense wanted to go into overtime. I think your
Mm-mm.
defense was legit tired.
I think
And they
the
pulled out
defense.
that last piece of energy they had for you to get you a stop, because Kyle Pitts got the touchdown. So it gave them a little bit more energy. And then you get out there and don't even call. I think the refs were looking at him like, why the refs checking to make sure he ain't gonna call a timeout.
Yeah, they're looking over, and I'm with you. They're probably looking, going, "You gonna call a timeout or what? I mean, we're waiting on you." Okay.
And it's like you had it. Everything you said that you was gonna do, you did do. That's the only thing I can't knock you about. You set a standard, stuck with it, and we did it all the way up to the game that we really needed it, and it wasn't even on the team. Some of these games we lost, I can honestly say, was on the team. They were tackling bad. Kurt wasn't looking good. The receivers weren't catching.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kept telling people, I felt like if we'd have got past that game there, I think Michael Penix would have got a little bit better the more and more we got in the playoffs because he'd have had more reps with the receivers. So by the time we got the eye, and they'd have had a little, playoff adrenaline at the same time, which probably would have made them practice more. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, let's go out here and do some extra drills and stuff just to make sure we on point.
Well, what's another concerning part was all the leaks that come out about the Falcons.
Yeah.
It's like who's doing all this talking? And I'm not trying to be funny about it, but
that's you right. See, Doug, remember when they said the news came out that Michael Penix was the best quarterback in the facility, and then the Falcon, and then Hodge came out and said, "No, that's a lie. We ride with Kurt." Da 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 da. We come to see that the rumors was actually true.
Yeah. And and then you look at Hodge and you're going, well, maybe it's not, maybe it's just a rumor. But yeah, then you see what's going on, then you're like trying to cover for your guy. I get it, but dang. But
that's why I do sort of feel you when you said they sort of threw him under the bus, Michael Penix under the bus a little bit, because you got a quarterback that, truthfully, if he'd have had the whole season, that was the only difference between him and Jaden Daniels. I'm gonna keep this all the way 100.
I'm with
Jaden Daniels had the whole season. Because remember, at the first of the season, they weren't that good. They didn't really pop off till after that 5th, 6th game.
Yeah.
He would get in the field. So that's why I said I feel that if we'd got past the Commanders, that'd have been about 3, 4 games, 5 games. Usually it's a 5-game stretch. Even it was a 5-game stretch for Kirk Cousins too. So that 5th game stretch would have been the first game of the playoffs. They'd probably been on. You don't know what could have happened, man. Like, you just really squandered this, because I'm be honest, I don't even want to watch football no more. If we ain't going, I don't even care at this point. We can sit on the podcast for 5, 6 hours as far as I care. You know what I'm saying? It's just because if I sort of feel, I don't know. I wish I could remember what player tweeted that time about they ain't finna watch the playoffs this year. I felt them, because if your coach squandered away the playoffs like he did, I don't even play for y'all, and I don't want to watch it.
Dude, I know, and that's why it's like when I say what I say, I'm not just saying it for hot air. I'm saying it because I'm going, I get, oh, well, you want to give him another year and all that, but then when you see this kind of incompetence, the question is, are you actually hurting your team if you do give him another year?
Do the team even want to play with him anymore? That's why I said I didn't even look at it from that angle until you said it earlier today. And then the more and more I look at it from there, I'm like, Richie, if you play for the Falcons right now, would you really want to play? As much as you love him and you will ride for him because he your coach, would you really want to play for him this year? Not because I told somebody, but we don't deserve to go to no playoff till our coach can learn how to call a timeout. Because in the playoffs, a timeout is very, very, very critical in a playoff game. And this game had playoff implications. And I seen that my coach don't know how to call timeouts in a playoff implication. And we've been dragging our offensive coordinators all year long. And then when they do actually show up, you fail the mission. I mean, you can't even blame Zach Robinson and Jimmy Lake at this point. Everybody gonna know they the scapegoat if you get rid of them.
You can have, it's like this. Notice how we never have anyone on defense at the press conference during these bad losses. Because I would love to hear Brady. I would love to hear Judon. I would love to hear anyone and just go.
And I ain't talking about them old posts they be putting out trying to sound politically correct. I want to hear your feelings.
Yeah, because I would love to hear them go, yeah, it's pretty hard to win a game when you're having to go against your coach.
And it's just like, I know you pissed everybody off. You pissed everybody off in one game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Arthur Blank told you to go back out there and make that second. I think that came. Now that I can't think came all the way from the top.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise
that go out there for that second interview, because The players could have been mad when you got back. We don't really know what's going on. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, we don't know how long the line was to talk to Mr. Blank.
And probably talk to Terry first. Like, Terry,
Yeah.
look. Because what I'm trying to get people to understand is some of these players that's on our team are only on 1 year deals. You squandered away their opportunity to perform for other teams if you're not gonna keep them.
Yeah.
Because they stock would have been higher if you'd have made the playoffs. Even if you'd have traded Simmons and Judon, by the time you'd have traded them, even though truthfully, a lot of people don't want to keep Judon and Simmons, but I do. Because I think it was just they came in such short time and learned the system. People think learning the system takes a couple of weeks. It's more than that.
Yeah.
So that's why I said it ain't. But it's like, even if you're not going to keep them, you messed up their opportunity to really get their shine on in the playoffs to raise the trade value. So it's like, now if you got to trade away stuff for pennies when you could have had quarters. So you sort of see that's why I said that timeout is more critical than a lot of people really realize.
Yeah.
You made Terry's job harder. Because if he do want to get off some players, just remember we only got 5 draft picks. So if you do want to get off some players to get off a pick, you're not going to get real high value for them like you would if you'd have just won that game. And even if you get beat versus, I think we were going to play Detroit first. Even if you'd have got beat, you still would have been respected and your players would still have a higher trade value. So now you got Terry got to let stuff go for pennies on a dollar when he could have let it go for nickels a dime on a dollar. Because football's still a business too. That's why I said it, like you said, this affected way more than just Raheem and the fans.
Yeah. And that's why I come from this perspective as I'm a Falcon fan, but I'm not gonna buy into the radio positivity crap from the Falcon football station. You know, I'm looking at it. Are you gonna call a spade a spade? And look, Arthur Smith that first year had nothing to work with, and they actually were able to give us 7 wins, and that was surprising. And then, we do the stupid thing with the Matt Ryan stuff, and we have to go with Mariota and Ritter combo. And I'm surprised we got 7 out of that. But I actually said it's time for Arthur to go. But then again, we wait another year, and then we really were like, he's got to go. So that's where I'm like, this is where, with Ra, though, he literally put us in his expectations are what put us in the expectation of playoffs. Then you beat the Buccaneers, the team that won that division, twice. You show up to New Orleans and you don't give them the respect, and you got beat, and that triggered this losing streak. And the way I see it, I do not feel bad for Ra or Kurt. Kurt's got his money. He's going to get his money. Ra, if you fought hard to get Kurt and you wanted him to be your quarterback the whole year, which I knew would happen, I understood the whole thing. But my thought was, if Kurt goes bad, you may have to put in Penix, but you probably won't. And then sure enough, here we are. And then make it so bad, Penix is that guy, and you screwed him over on prime time. And now my thing is, how can you look at the quarterback of your team and say, yeah, you got to work with this guy. He's got your back. I wouldn't. That's why I said, let's clean this up. And I'm going to build around this kid. And I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes you got to go full rebuild, because what Raheem did I don't know how the guys on defense or offense or special teams could look at him.
And you know what? I'm not even mad at Kirk. You know why? Because Kirk had us at 6-3, over 500. When his shoulder got hurt in that Denver game, you supposed to took him out.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody know his shoulder was hurt because you put him on IR and then took him off. You thought nobody would see that when you stuck him on IR real quick and had him listed as questionable for that next game. And I think it was questionable for the Saints game. If I ain't mistaken, like, man, I get it, but it's like you said, C-Dub, like, if you lost that locker room, we can't keep you. You sort of screwed yourself. Because we already, like you said, we have already seen that positivity, whatever, with Dan Quinn. We don't want to see no more of that. We good on that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
see, now you sort of making me wish we had kept Arthur Smith. Because one thing Arthur Smith did know was to run the ball. They couldn't stop us running the ball. Period.
I mean, it's like this. If you could have gotten, and now I am getting some. All right, so I am getting some word that the game they're rescheduling the Georgia Notre Dame game for tomorrow at 7:45.
Okay.
So I was actually trying to wait it out till I actually got some clearance on that because I was waiting on that. So because of the tragedy that happened over in New Orleans. So I get that. So yeah, if you were looking forward to the game tonight, it's going to be tomorrow night at 7:45, Georgia versus Notre Dame. But yeah, guys, it has been over 3 hours. So,
it sure has.
Yeah. So King Richie, next time, look, follow me on CDouble 28, and also look me up on Facebook if you have it, and let's link up because I would love to send you an invite to join us on our show, and love to have you on more often. All right, brother?
All right, brother. I appreciate it.
No problem. I would, like I said, please. And also CWANT AWTN.
I just found your page through Terry page.
Yeah.
That's how I was able to get over here. So I just followed you on YouTube, subscribed to you on there. So I'm gonna look for you on. Are you in one of them? I think you in one of them Falcon groups I'm in.
Yeah, I should be. And I've tried to find you, so but that's why
Atlanta
I said
Bird Gang, you in there? Atlanta Bird Gang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a post.
All right.
And then that way it'll make it a lot easier.
All right, cool. All right. I'll holler at you later on, all right, bro?
Brother.
All right. That's King Richie. And I want to say thank you so much. Guys, look, a round of applause for everyone. I want to say I appreciate you guys. So, but yeah. So, guys, that's my thoughts on the Falcons and also the playoffs. So, again, if you haven't heard, Georgia and Notre Dame will be playing tomorrow at 7:45 due to the Hey Christy, how you doing? Yeah, you're gonna have to rewatch us. It was fun. We had a lot to talk about. And Happy New Year, sweetie. By the way, I tried to contact you. If you want, please contact me so we could talk. Love to have you on the show too, Christy. I've been trying to get a hold of you. So when you get a chance, hit me up if you can. At CDouble AWTN is my X. CDouble 28 is YouTube. Please like, subscribe to the channel. Also, leave a comment. If anyone's watching us, we got over 42 folks here. If you're watching, leave a comment, and I'll get with you and talk. Love talking Falcons, love talking Georgia, and love talking wrestling. So we'll the wrestling show we're doing next week. I don't know what day. I'll talk to LaDarius because it's the Netflix drop, and it's going to be fun. And we got a lot to talk about. So with that being said, I want to thank LaDarius _Brown. You definitely want to follow him on YouTube, on his YouTube channel, also on his Instagram, and also on TikTok. He's got great, excellent breakdowns of the games. He also Beyond Women's Sports, you want to see what he can do. He writes a lot of great articles there, so definitely check him out. And for me, I'm at CDouble 28 on YouTube, and like I said, we'll be back. Friday is our last Friday show. That'll be fun to do, and then we're gonna hit our new schedule. So 10 a.m. on Monday, we'll be talking Falcons and what's next for them. We don't know. We're gonna see what happens, and then we'll respond. I hope we really can push through, and I just want to see. I just want to see what happens. I felt bad for them when they lost that game because they should have won that one. But anyway, I'm your host CDouble. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Thank you for hanging with us. This was fun. Happy New Year and Merry New Year to you. CDouble out. Out.